And we are live. Took me a second. I wanted to make sure we were live before I said that because, my name's not Bruce Buffer or anybody. I don't have like the command of that kind of an announcement. So welcome together, nerds, everybody. It's episode 183 this time, not 182, not 181 or 3. It took me a little while to figure that one out today, longer than I wish it would have. So today we have quite a few different topics, kind of getting back to our roots of talking about a little bit of everything, and that's always fun. And Sam, as always, has come through with
Hello.
the fantastic header that I'm gonna have to try to add if I can, because everybody needs to see this gloriousness, and then we'll talk about it. So. I'm Nick. That's Sam. And
Hello.
Cav will join us at some point, hopefully.
Hopefully.
He is watching a movie apparently about Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure that's not what it's about, but it's called Stillwater. And apparently the actor in it, named, maybe you've heard of Matt Damon, plays an Oklahoman. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. But that's what I surmised from all of the press that I have seen around it.
That's what I got from the trailer too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an Oklahoman, and there was an Oklahoman on set, and he asked him things to say, and the things that he learned to say were "go pokes." So that's kind of funny. I mean, being from Stillwater, you got to kind of.
I wonder if Ben Affleck is from Norman or something.
He's not in that movie, is he?
Oh.
It'd be great if he was. I'm from Norman. Boomer. That'd be awesome. Oh, goodness.
Which, if there's anybody out there that is in the Gather Nerds chat watching, I just want to apologize to anyone that I insulted as far as OU leaving the conference. I did not mean any offense.
You didn't say it on here. Now you've got to extra apologize now. You just said it in the group chat. Nobody saw that.
That's true. In that case, I didn't say anything bad about OU. They will not start losing now that they've lost. Now that they've left the conference.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Because it's it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Every time they've played an SEC team here lately, they've not done well. I don't think it's going to work out real well.
This is the most controversial episode we've had so far.
Do what?
This is the most controversial episode we've had so far.
Well, if we're going to be controversial, we got to be controversial about things that really don't matter to people.
Hey, Jeremy, how's it going?
Jeremy, how is OU going to do in the SEC? He'll say it.
He'll be our sports correspondent for today.
Well, for right now. I mean, he said he was missing his mullet, so figured he was a Stillwater fan in that regard. But anyway, all right, guys. So I think it's time to get started. We've joked around. Football really matters, Nick Hughes. I disagree. I think it matters to a select few of people. Maybe more than a select few, but I disagree. So let's start with space. So Nerdist put out this article that, for the life of me, I could not copy the link and put in the agenda. So I had to share it in the chat and then copy the link. My phone was acting weird. Scientists have spotted light from behind a black hole for the first time ever. Wow. Which, folks, the reason this is a big deal, besides the fact that it is something along the lines of the plot for Interstellar,
right,
is the fact that it proves that Einstein's general theory of relativity was right. So you heard that right, folks. Like, Einstein was on his game during his lifetime about things he had yet to even be seen. OU will be fine in the SEC. I'm guessing they'll be in the top 5 of the SEC. Is that because there's only 5 teams in the SEC? I have to know. Oh, I liked Hannah's response. Hannah, you need to be in the chat saying these things live. Yeah. Hannah says they are going to have a lot of opportunities to work on their humility. So for those of you that do not reside in Oklahoma, there are two primary teams that everybody roots for in Oklahoma if you're a college fan, and it's traditionally OU and OSU. And the hostility between the two of them is pretty significant to the point of humility lacking on both sides. And the irony of it is it models many other aspects of our society that also struggle with humility on a regular basis because they can't admit they were wrong and they can't admit that their behavior was the same behavior as the other person. So, needless to say, it is a point of contention, and I'm only speaking in jest about only having 5 teams in the SEC because I know squat about football. I don't know anything. I know what the game is. I know some of the teams in it, but that's it. I don't know when they play. I know Saturday and Sunday and Thursday, I think, but maybe Monday. But Monday might be Monday Night Raw. I don't know.
Same thing.
Either way, Jeremy, I have no idea how many are in the SEC. An OU fan would say OU Texas is the rivalry and OSU doesn't matter at all. Exactly my point. So, again, who knows? I think ultimately humility in sports sets the tone for a lot of things. I think when you have the opportunity to be in front of people and set an example for behavior, you have a responsibility to do so. That's just my belief. So go Pokes. So obviously I'm kidding. I didn't go to either of the schools. So fulfilling a prediction of Einstein's theory of general relativity, researchers have reported the first ever recording of X-ray emissions from the far side of the black hole. So the reason it's an X-ray is because the black hole bends the light so much that it turns it into X-ray light. So it's not visible light necessarily. You have to have a specialized telescope. So the scientists that had done this are at Stanford University, and they realized or kind of theorized a way that might occur. And they wrote, lots of equations, theories, created these whole structures that they believed they would see this. And finally, they were observing a supermassive black hole and saw flashes of light. Well, then over time, they start analyzing that and they realize that those flashes of light are not actually coming from the front of it. They're coming from the far side of it, behind it. So there's light actually on the other side of the black hole, which, could that be a wormhole? Who knows? But it's absolutely astounding science when you think about the fact that black holes are relatively theoretical. Up until recently, scientists had never observed one actually being in the making. And then even prior to that, there was the scientist that was able to actually use telescopes to get a picture of one. And so all of those things were, Einstein believed that there was black holes kind of a thing and masses of gravity that were, difficult to see. And so science has just kind of come along finally so many years later to understand a little bit more about the universe around us, which is, I don't know, for me, that's impressive because you see movies like Interstellar and you kind of wonder, is that an opportunity? Is that a possibility someday we utilize those as highways to basically get from one universe to another, or one time frame to another? Who knows? So, Sam, what do you think about that? Anything?
I agree. It's amazing. And I think every once in a while we have those discoveries or those, benchmarks that we hit. And when we look back and see, where we've come from, I think that's the most significant thing for me is the amount of time between the theory and now we're this far along. There was a meme going around on social media not too long ago about the time between when they first were making airplanes and when we got to space. It's amazing how quickly things are progressing for us right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to think it's largely in part to the fact that we're willing to understand things in a different context when it comes to observed sciences. And the technology obviously is just vastly improving everything. I mean, the fact that we have a reusable rocket now.
Yeah.
I say we, but they've
Hmm.
created a rocket that is reusable to the point that it's taken 2 trips to the space station with astronauts, on
Hmm.
top of many other test landings and satellites and all kinds of things. I mean, it's amazing, and I think it's going to be exciting to see kind of what else they figure out with black holes. And kind of how they function. The coolest one to me was the picture of it. This is obviously right up there with it, but then when scientists actually observed a sun going from supernova to a black hole, that
Yeah,
was pretty cool.
that was amazing.
Because that's not something that they ever would. I mean, you would never expect you're going to actually be able to witness that transformation, and they did. So pretty cool.
Yeah,
Pretty cool stuff. Science is awesome, people. You don't always have to agree with it. You don't always have to like it, but you have to appreciate the fact that it has done a lot of good for us. It is amazing.
absolutely.
So, okay, we're gonna have to skip the card thing until hopefully Cav gets here, because my goodness, that's
We tried to start the
impressive.
show out with sports, and turns out our sports experts just aren't here.
Who would have known? I mean,
Thanks,
Amazon
Jeremy.
dropped something off on my porch. As long as the Chitauri don't come through the black hole, I agree. I agree. But don't forget how Thor got back to Earth. Don't forget that.
It's true.
It was a collapsing neutron star and a Rosen bridge, right? Einstein Rosen bridge. Wasn't that it? Also a giant black hole. Gonna forgo the name just for the sake of not saying the name. Okay,
I
so
appreciate that.
the
Gotta
thing
keep
that
friendly.
I thought was amazing, Sam, did you like Ninja Turtles as a kid?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Did you ever watch any of the newer stuff?
I watched the newer movies. I have not seen the newer show.
Okay, okay. What about the toys? I assume you had some of the toys, if not all of them.
All of them. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, all right. Did you ever come across a Usagi Jimbo?
yeah. I don't believe I did.
Okay. So I don't know really where it falls in Ninja Turtles realm of things. But at some point in the storyline of the Ninja Turtles, there is a samurai rabbit that's also kind of a mutant. And his name's Usagi Jimbo. And I had a friend that I loves Usagi Yojimbo. I was saying it wrong. And uh, he loved that rabbit because he was a samurai, had a sword, the whole nine. They have
Yeah.
a toy. I mean, you can buy his toy. I don't know what year it came out or anything, but Netflix has decided to take has decided to give a first look at Comic-Con 2021 of the Chronicles of the Samurai Robot or Rabbit. Excuse me, not robot, rabbit. The Usagi Chronicles is what it's called, and it's going to follow that person, that character. So this person hails from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore, but it's going to be kind of their origin story, I believe. In the still shot that's on the article, they appear to have a katana and be in some form of like ninja type outfit. To describe the visual effects, if you've seen Zootopia, it kind of looks along that lines,
Yes.
just with the artistic nature of the characters. So I'm pretty excited about it. This is going to be a descendant of the Usagi Yojimbo character. It's going to be a teenage rabbit samurai Yuchi. I think I'm saying that right. Descendant of the great warrior Mayamato Usagi, on his epic journey to become a true samurai. So the fact that it is there, I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. It'll be an interesting take on things because I'm not sure how much the Ninja Turtles will really play into it, other than the character types that they're playing and the fact that it's set in Japan. Because there's like a rhino, character and things like that. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see. But looks pretty good. So from what I've seen. Okay.
I mean, if it's a descendant of the character from the Ninja Turtles universe, I wonder if it's going to be like in the future or in the past, or There's gonna be some
Well,
time
that's kind of what I
travel,
was.
or
Yeah, that's kind of what I was reading here. It says many of the characters YouTube befriends.
we may not know enough yet,
Yeah,
but you're right. It
yeah.
looks amazing, and I love the whole concept.
But that's a good point as to when would that fall into everything. Um, apparently, there's some crossover with. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I don't know that they've got a lot out there yet because obviously they don't want to. They don't want to spoil it. Um, but I'm excited.
It's just another, I guess, expansion on all
Absolutely.
the amazing things that we just loved when we were kids. And it's really interesting to be at the point in life where all these big companies are really targeting our demographic. Like, I never thought I'd get here, and now I'm so excited.
Right. Right. Well, it seems like all of the characters in the show will be descendants of heroes from Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh man.
Usagi Yojimbo. So it seems like it's kind of going to be a lineage type of a story, which will be very cool. Kind of like Kung Fu Panda, where there's the
Love
lineage
Kung Fu
of it all.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. But by the way, I also have to say, I love the fact that on the article, there's a Ted Lasso banner. I've still yet to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but
it's very good.
Sorry, had to sneeze. It looks hysterical, and I'm I'm itching to watch it. I just haven't yet. Had some things going on, so
I understand.
Yeah.
Have you watched He-Man yet?
I have
Isn't
not
it
watched
out?
all of the He-Man. I watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes.
Okay.
I loved it. What do you think?
Oh, I haven't started yet.
Okay.
Waiting
So
for
far, I
your-
love it.
Waiting for your, I guess, stamp of approval.
Okay, well, my stamp of approval is watch it because it's going to hit all those little buttons that it did when we were kids, and it's better. It's drawn better. The story's better.
Fantastic.
It's really good. Like I said, we only watched up till I want to say episode 3, and then we went to something, soccer or something, and we just haven't got back to it. And so it's definitely we started watching the Olympics too, and that kind of took out a lot of things. Speaking of which, have you watched the Olympics?
So I had lunch the other day at Andolini's downtown,
Okay.
and fencing was on, and that's the only thing I've watched is about 2 rounds of fencing.
That stuff's insane.
It is. It was super interesting.
Speed. Yeah, you want to talk about speed and precision. Holy cow.
And I didn't realize like their gear has little sensors built into it, so that it's not just a hey, judge says this person got it or that person got it.
Right.
Like it lights up and you can tell. I thought, wow, that's really high tech.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So I have not got to I got to watch some of the highlights of fencing, but I didn't get to watch it. I wish I would have because it just seems like such a neat sport to watch. Again, another sport with summer sports that I haven't got to watch that I love is Taekwondo.
Oh yeah.
And their setup is the same. The chest pads that they wear have sensors in them. That way, when they actually hit, a lot of times there's a sensor built in. Not all the time, but pretty neat little thing there. But it's fast action. Saw the first scorpion kick out of the year in Taekwondo, which was amazing. Guy faked a round kick, bent down, came up with his other foot as he was landing and kicked the guy in the back of the head and got the points.
Oh man.
So it was amazing. So cool. So let's see, what else did we watch? We've watched some road cycling. And then when I came in here, what was on? Volleyball was on, but we were watching rugby this morning, women's rugby this morning.
Oh,
we
that's
watched
awesome.
rugby. We had watched rugby. I watched
like
some part
rugby.
Of the game.
Yeah, I watched.
Yeah,
that
we
too.
watched part of was Netherlands, and I can't remember who they were playing. But ironically, this morning it was the Netherlands this morning as well, but it was a women's team, and so the game hadn't started, and they kicked it off. And the one girl jumps up and the other girl lifts her up and holds her so that she can grab the ball. And John's like, what in the world are we watching? I'm like, it's awesome, right? I go, I don't understand anything about it, but it's amazing.
Same here. I was watching at lunch for just a little bit. Again, that's the only time I have, it seems. And I could not figure out what the rules were, what was going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But it looked a lot of fun. It was great.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the cool things about the Olympics is you don't always have to understand everything going on. You can kind of just appreciate what you're watching,
It's true.
unlike football where you kind of have to know what's going on to even care. So that was a shot at Jeremy, just so you know. All right.
I think there's an understanding that with so many events and it being a global, overall a global event, there's a lot of people that aren't familiar or can't be familiar, so they try to explain it better than they would if it was just specifically for a smaller group of people and that already know.
Well, and like if it's a sport in your country, most likely the average person is not going to get an explanation except from a fan.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, the Olympics does a really good job of breaking all that down to help us figure out the rules. It's pretty cool.
Did you play the games on the Google Doodle?
I did not. I have not had any time at all to do anything of that. No. But you said it was pretty fun, right?
Yeah, it's got a really elaborate anime opening where it's just this little cat that is making its way out to an island, and it gets greeted by all these other animals, and then there's events on the island that you have to compete in, like table tennis and skateboarding, and one of them's rugby. Climbing, there's a mountain climbing game, and it's all just really basic, simple little games, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
The rugby one I think was my favorite because
I bet
you've got all these little characters across the field, and one of them has the ball, and you have to like pass it to another one before it gets hit by somebody.
Oh, yeah! Holy cow,
So, yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat.
Very cool. Way to go, Google, for creating something like that.
Oh man, that was the most amazing thing. I think that it was something that was just like on their homepage.
Right? Yeah, just to have. Like you didn't have to buy it or anything. Absolutely. Okay, where do you want to go next? You want to talk about some video games?
I mean, sure. I got completely sidetracked.
No,
looking at the Taekwondo results.
Oh, it's amazing. If you get to watch any of the highlights, it's there. I mean, you want to talk about the thing that blows my mind, and I was telling Mitchell this the other day, is when you watch something like swimming, okay, it's hard for the viewer to recognize and respect how fast they're actually moving, except for the fact that you're looking at the time, right?
Right.
So then you go to like something like track, and the only reason you can even figure out how fast they're moving, kind of in a spatial awareness thing, is because of the background. Like you can see it coasting by. So like it's hard to appreciate the speed of all of these athletes and the skill level of all of these athletes. At time, I mean, doing the flips and the gymnastics and the balance beams and the uneven bars and the rings, all of that stuff, I can appreciate that without even understanding how difficult it is. But like running, it's kind of one of those things that unless you recognize the speed of it, it's kind of hard to understand the amount of skill that's in there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Taekwondo's the same way. The Olympic style Taekwondo looks like they're just flailing around sometimes because of the way that they have to kick to protect themselves. Typically their arms are down. They're not typically blocking anything, kind of a thing. And so it doesn't look like there's a lot of skill there, but there's a tremendous amount of skill there, and speed and endurance. It's just, I don't know. I have really been enamored with the Olympics this year. And maybe it's just because of, 2020 and the end of 2019, but it's just been so impressive and so exciting to watch and just appreciate all of these people that have worked so hard to get to this place. It's just it's humbling to kind of see it all.
Absolutely.
I told Joni, I said, nothing makes me feel more American than watching a bunch of athletes perform at the absolute best of what they can do while I'm eating Oreos sitting on the couch. It's just crazy. So I don't know.
Gluten-free
But
Oreos, though, right?
of course, yeah. There ain't
So
no getting sick in this house.
again, science
Um,
is amazing.
it is. The only thing I can't figure out is why it's more expensive. Must be the science.
Yes, that's what.
Because when you take one thing out and you add 55, I can't
Mhm.
understand why it's so much more expensive. But whatever, such is life.
Such is life.
For those of you that are questioning whether gluten-free Oreos are the best or not, I would challenge you to get a double stuffed regular Oreo and a double stuffed gluten-free Oreo. Eat them both with your eyes closed. I would be willing to bet you cannot tell the difference. Even my wife, who eats everything gluten in the entire world, says she likes the gluten-free ones better. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. But in general,
She could just
she
be
says
being
it.
nice.
She could be, but I'm telling you right now, to me, they taste
Mhm.
exactly like I remember an Oreo. We have a neighbor who just
Fantastic.
found out they were celiac. We gave them one, and he was like, "That's an Oreo," and he had just stopped. Kids they don't typically forget things like that, so
Absolutely not.
kind of a thing. So anyway,
Anyway,
um,
sorry.
enough Oreos. I'm hungry now. I'm gonna have to go get the box. Um, so video games.
Yes,
Sam, did you put this Playdate thing in here from IGN?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about it because I don't really understand what it is.
So a while back, a company announced a new. I mean, I guess it's. I guess you'd consider it a handheld console, but
Okay,
it's just a really basic system. And the idea is it's supposed to be a. Let me find it here. It's kind of like an old Game Boy as far as the interface goes. It's only got a very small screen, couple of small buttons. It's got some unique characteristics. It's got a little crank you can wind on the side, but it's going to have games specifically designed for its kind of unique setup there.
cool.
And it's actually it seemed kind of silly. I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be a thing, and turns out, yeah, they've started taking uh, orders for it, and they sold 20,000 units in the first like 20 minutes.
That's
So
insane.
it's a
So does
one.
does
Yeah,
the crank let you change the games? Is that what it is? What is the crank for?
I think the crank is an interface. Like if you have to turn something or swivel
Oh,
something. The thing is, it's games specifically designed for this little device. So, I
gotcha.
mean, there's again original Game Boy. You've got A and B, and then you've got the directional pad, and then they've got this weird little crank on the side. And I think those are the only options they have for actual interface with the game. And
Yeah,
the screen, it's a tiny little screen, very low resolution, very simple graphic style, and yeah, I don't have an explanation for the crank as far as why they thought. I mean, I'm sure they've got some sort of a specific use case in mind, but yeah,
it feels like a fishing simulator.
it might be. I mean, I'm actually really impressed with again, as simple as it is, some of the graphics they've got in some of these screenshots. It's
Well, and
a
I
really
like
basic
that.
thing.
I like that in one of the screenshots they have it look. It kind of looks like it's an alarm clock.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
they've
sure
built a
it'll have.
case or
Yeah,
something for it. That's cool.
I don't know that we have all the details for what all it'll do, and I'm not even
Sure.
sure they have all the details of eventually where they could possibly go with it. But as far as a starting uh, point goes, it's got some really interesting. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot of what to expect from it, but a lot of the people that really follow, individual indie game developers are saying, "Oh yes, there's a lot of potential for what could be put into this thing," and so yeah, I think it's kind of a we'll have to wait and see. But for now, it's unique, and apparently it does have a market. I think that's the
It's pretty
cool thing.
cool. I mean, I don't know that I'll buy one, but like the concept of it, I like it. That's pretty cool.
It is. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know that you're gonna find anything real fancy as far as the games go, but for just a simple people carry around the little fidget spinners and stuff like that. I think it'll go in place of some pretty simple things like, hey, it's Gav.
What's happening?
I will tell you this. I carried my Game Boy Advance SP around just constantly when that came out for like probably 4 years. And having a little device like this that's for the pocket sized, got little tiny games that you can play on the go. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Very cool. Very cool. Nice little nano leaves back there, friend.
Thank you.
You're like random Frank P style now.
Yeah, there's more coming actually, but I went down a rabbit hole and just things just started happening at that point.
That's how it goes. How do they stay on the wall?
Yeah.
Magic.
Okay.
Yep,
What's the design?
Hang on. I can't control the camera.
It's Overwatch.
If it's not GTN, I don't want to see it.
There we go.
It's Cheers.
Oh,
It's
that's
not-
cool.
It's not Cheers, but yeah.
Oh,
So
It'll be Cheers eventually.
yeah, the room's a disaster, as everybody can see.
are you
That's
gonna
okay.
make it a Legend of Zelda logo there?
No, it's a little.
Triforce.
It's a little vault of glass.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do some things with it.
We were
Wow.
about to talk about Destiny crossplay, by the way.
We actually were. Perfect timing.
You might do
I'm
what?
gonna let you take it away, since out of the three of us, I think you're the only one that still plays Destiny.
Destiny crossplay.
I have managed to walk away from it yet again,
Yeah.
and I'm
Terrible.
hoping to get back to it, but just not right now.
So crossplay is pretty dope because they are bringing console PC, so all consoles PC together for pretty much everything in terms of gameplay. So like when we raid in the group that we raid with, it's basically there's a PC raid of the week, there's an Xbox raid, and stuff like that. So there's pretty much just going to be a raid. Now there are differences in terms of what's there, because like the one thing they thought they had figured out, but they don't have figured out right now is the communication comms between
Voice.
everybody. Yeah. So long live
It's
Discord.
overrated. You don't need that for a
Yeah.
raid.
So they're going to do that. But yeah, so starting next season, which is here not very long from now, crossplay will be up. They did a beta of a weekend of strikes in crossplay. So you matched with other people. And it went really well. Like I didn't notice anything. Now, as far as like PvP stuff, like PC people will match with PC people unless like other people opt in, because 60 frames or 120 frames a second versus, more. And so in terms of what's going to be there, but yeah, it's exciting. We're looking forward to it. Just so everybody, there are people who, because the group that we play with is primarily Xbox and then PC, and there are people who we would love to have join us, but they play on PlayStation. There's no way to join us right now, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting.
I gotta say, I'm feeling the bass in your voice right now, man. Like you have set that microphone up to sound very, very bassy.
There has been no alteration to my voice.
I disagree.
It's just a much higher quality mic is the thing. You've got to be right on it. In a world.
See, you've edited it. It's you caught. You're busted.
Yep. No,
You're
I
gonna
don't.
Wake up sounding like McGregor here in a minute.
Yeah, I don't. Not that voice changing wouldn't be fun, and there is some things I'm working on something actually, but with that for Extra Life stuff, one of the other people that I know that stream, they like you can like there's like streaming currency, not like bits like you pay, but like just like this fake currency you get for watching. And one of my friends, what he does is he gives control of things like his lighting, so that's part of it, over to chat. So basically they pledge 100 whatever it's going to be, Twitch coins or whatever it is, nothing you pay for, just something that you have for their watching. And you can do different things. So like you can change lighting, which is part of the Nanoleaf integration that I'm working on. But there's also a voice mod where basically you donate 5,000 whatever currency, and it will automatically change your voice. So that's going to be fun once I get all that done. I'm trying to get the Extra Life like studio stuff ready like way in advance instead of the weekend before.
It's what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be something. The whole studio's getting probably torn down as soon as we're done here. So for the most part, it's going to be exciting. So yeah, Destiny crossplay is going to be great. It's going to be great for the community. You know, I don't know where they are going to hit in terms of, you know, once they fix the communication thing and things like that, but it will be cool. I'm excited about that.
On.
It's going to be nice to play with some more people. I haven't been playing that much. I didn't do Solstice. Once I maxed my dude and did the raid 20 times, I was like, I'm out. Like, I keep wanting to get into Witcher, like Witcher 3, and like I've owned it forever. And then like I was like, okay, perfect time. Like Destiny's quiet, I can go start this game. They're like, guess what? Ray tracing Witcher is coming. I'm like, oh, so now I gotta wait. So it looks all shiny and whatever. So that annoys me slightly. So there was a great Sega bundle on I think Fanatical today for like $6. So I might jump on that and play some Altered Beast or some Golden Axe.
Oh man, good times.
Yes, indeed. I have no idea where we are in the agenda. So
we're just
jumping around
games right now. We've talked about how football doesn't matter.
No, it's all about money.
Exactly. And now we're on games.
Sweet.
Yeah. We were wanting to talk about sports, then we realized, wait a minute, if we're going to talk about cards, we're going to have somebody who knows about cards.
Oh yeah, this is nuts, man. Most expensive card, I think.
Yep.
Ever. So the Nationals going on right now. This is one of those things that I would like to go to at some point in my life, just to go, because it's the National and it's, you know, basically it's Comic-Con for card collectors is the best way to put it. It's San Diego Comic-Con for card people.
There you go.
And the biggest sale of a card occurred at the National. $4.3 million for a Patrick Mahomes 1/1 NFL Shield autograph rookie, graded an 8.5. So what makes it interesting is obviously there's only one of these. It's out of a product called National Treasures, which is like
I was with you when they
of
opened
dollars
up
a box.
Yeah. That's the one that came in the briefcase, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Comes in a briefcase or wooden box, or there's any number of very fancy ways that it shows up. So yeah, it's an 8.5. Those cards traditionally, because they are so thick, it's really hard to get a top tier grade on them because like the edges take a lot of damage, and the corners are really difficult. I didn't see like that image. So that one's got a 9.5 centering. I think this said edges 8. Corners are 9.5 and surface is 8. So yeah, it took a beating. But I mean, the thing is, whoever owned that card, assuming this is from the original owner, spent probably $3,000 for that box. $3,000, $4,000 to 4.3 million. Not bad.
It's kind of a guaranteed hit, right?
It's not a guaranteed hit. I mean, you do have like the cards that come out of that product are traditionally super high end. This is the product that puts diamonds, literal diamonds, in their cards. It's
that much money, I would hope.
Yeah. So that is one of those products that I love watching people open, and like I will never have a box of that myself. There's no way. The risk is too high, because you could have a box and yes, you get great cards and the cards are worth $2,000, you still lost $1,000. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Crazy.
But we've seen some pretty crazy stuff come to National Treasures. I mean, when I think it was National Treasures when Zion Williamson, when his rookie was still in there, there'd be a 101, probably like an NBA logo, like a Jumpman or something. While that was going on, that hunt was going on, they like the price of National Treasures kept going up. So call it $3,000 a box, turned into $5,000, turned into $10,000. because a Zion Williamson rookie like this is probably $100,000 card or more. And they and as soon as it got out that card's been found, prices
Just
go
tanks.
back down. Yeah. I mean, tanks as far as a $3,000 a box product can tank, because there's still like numbered to 10s and numbered to 5s and things like that. There's still some low number stuff, but everybody was hunting that one of one NBA logo, that type of thing. So it's an interesting hobby right now. LJ's Card Shop out of New Albany, Ohio, bought that card. That's a lot of money for a card shop.
It is.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, like, I don't even, because then at that point, like, where do you go? Because I can see that more as an individual than a card shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my only thought with that is, I'm messing with the microphone here.
You think maybe they were buying it for somebody?
Bingo. I think whoever actually owned the card or actually was going to pay for it, they probably did the deal, and so actually the actual owner didn't get their identity stays private.
Yeah, makes sense.
There's also a lot of investment companies, investment firms, things like that are using cards like this, Tom Brady, LeBron James, Kobe, things like that, to Jordan rookies also, to basically serve as a backup, to things like gold, which is crazy to me. Like,
That's crazy.
there are few like true guaranteed things, and like a Tom Brady rookie is always going to be worth a fortune. A Jordan rookie, graded high enough. LeBron rookie, stuff like that, those are always going to be high dollar cards. And especially if these people go and buy them up, they make them harder to find, which just drives the value up.
Sure.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty wild out there. So,
I mean, that's just, golly, that's a lot of money on a card.
yeah, I agree. It's a lot of money for anything.
Right.
Let alone a 2x3 piece of cardboard with part of a jersey in it and a signature.
But I think the size of what you're purchasing for that does make a difference.
Yeah.
If you were to get like a Bugatti Veyron or something, like, that's significantly large.
Yeah.
Compared to significantly small.
I spent 4.3.
And it's about the same price.
Yep. I spent $4.3 million on a piece of cardboard. Here's the thing. I don't hate it though.
What's the gas mileage on it?
Hey, yeah, whatever. 2.
Yeah. That's
2 feet.
How many bathrooms are in that?
Are in that card? There's one behind the NFL logo. It's just a powder bath, though.
Oh, okay. It's worth it.
Yes, indeed.
So let's talk about Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
Hey.
technical test is going on right now.
Yeah.
I
Are
didn't
you
get
guys
in it.
excited?
I am and I'm not. Like, Josh, the Rev, watched some gameplay and things like that. And I've seen some gameplay, and like, I'm not overly impressed, like, right now. But it's still early. They said this is not a beta, it's a technical test. But, we'll see. I'll play it. It doesn't really matter, like, to me. Like, it's on Xbox Game Pass, so I can play it and not invest any money in it. I'll play through the campaign. I want to see some grunts exploding confetti. If that's not in that game does not exist to me.
Right.
Like, need the grunt celebration. But
I'm always happy to get more of the Halo universe, but it has started to kind of, at least with the last game, I don't know, the story felt like it was kind of wandering.
Church is getting his hair done.
Yes.
getting his hair did.
So I don't know. I'm curious about where it's going, but it's true. I think we've been waiting a long time, and with the concern about, availability of hardware and stuff like that, it's kind of, the hype isn't there like it used to be.
Yeah. There was a lot, when it was going to be like a day and date launch title with the Series X, like,
Yeah.
that was awesome. But
It was.
now most people are basically considering that it's going to be released in November on the 20th anniversary of Halo.
Which would be great.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Xbox, the new Xboxes, are they becoming easier to find?
No.
Okay, then why on earth is Fruit Loops advertising that you can win one on the back of their box?
Because Fruit Loops has one. Toucan
Oh,
Sam
okay.
has a stash. Like,
Yeah,
He's the
well,
one that's been buying them all up.
exactly right. So here's what we're seeing in the console world. You are seeing them pop up more often than you were 6 months ago. Like, they are showing up, but they are traditionally going out of stock relatively quickly. There's been several people in the Destiny clan where they've been tried to get one and have been unable to. Like, they go in stock on Microsoft, and within 5 minutes they're gone. The one of the best bets here really has been Costco has been running bundles with stuff, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Like, they're bundling everything together, which is kind of annoying unless the bundle has everything you need in it. Like, and so
Toilet paper, toothpaste.
exactly right. A rotisserie chicken from Costco, like,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
bundle that with anything, and I am down. I
Big
love
bag
those.
of potatoes.
I love those. Yeah, a Costco size of potatoes. Like,
Maybe some tires for my car.
it's
don't
true.
forget rice. Don't forget rice. You
Yeah.
gotta have rice. They have 50-pound bags of rice there.
Love it. So I mean, so they are showing up more often, as are the PlayStations. GameStop has been very interesting in that world. If you are a pro whatever member of GameStop, which is like $15 a year, they've been doing a lot of pre-sale, like not pre-sales, but you're getting first shot at things with PlayStations and stuff, and through that, not spoiler, I guess, mini announcement, PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Digital is going to be in the Extra Life raffles this year,
Oh,
as is an Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
They are
not what I thought you were going to say.
They are in hand right now.
The
So,
reason I was not.
why did you ooh?
Well, because I thought you were going to say that the new PS5 compatible Seagate SSDs are really expensive.
Oh, they are.
That's where I thought you were going.
Well, here's the thing. I
So-
mean, honestly, that's a great thing. Not a great thing that they're expensive. It's a great thing that they added that feature, because that has been the number one thing for the PlayStation. Has been, people are like, it's got a 1 terabyte or a 960 gig hard drive in it. Like 200 gig of it is the PlayStation OS. So you've got a handful of games. When Call of Duty is like 400 gigs by itself, like, there you go. So having those extra, having that option in there is great, especially for digital, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they are expensive, no doubt. But once that firmware is widely available, it would be at that point, I'm going to wait for the like the Seagate ones that are there. What are they called? The Firecudas, I think.
Firecuda.
Yeah, because a Barracuda isn't scary enough.
It's got to be on fire.
Here's the Firecuda. Okay, so
Well,
here's the
Flipper
question.
taught me anything about barracudas, you don't get in the water with shiny objects.
So let me ask you this question.
Cuda NATO.
A Firecuda, is that a Barracuda that is just constantly on fire?
Yes.
Or is that a Barracuda that breathes fire?
No. It's
Constantly
definitely
on fire?
Fire.
constantly on fire, even when it's underwater.
And can still breathe fire.
It can still breathe fire, yes.
Nice. So the Seagate ones are there. So Seagate is playing both
Science.
sides right now. Science, for sure. Because the fire is so hot that it just boils off the water around it.
That's right, yeah.
So technically, it's actually breathing air of some
Wow.
Kind of
kind.
like the fire that they had in the Gulf of Mexico with oil, and it was just
Exactly,
like
yes.
burning.
Underwater. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
so-
Seagate.
Yep, it was Seagate. Seagate's playing both sides because the expansion storage for Xbox is also a Seagate. Now, Xbox also trolled Microsoft Xbox trolled PlayStation pretty hard, because when this announcement happened, basically they tweeted, I think it was the image of how you insert extra storage in an Xbox, and it's literally a simple diagram. You just plug it in like a USB stick. Like, that's all it is. So yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I think it's great. That's been the biggest issue for any of these consoles, has been a 1 terabyte hard drive when games are 100 gigs. Like,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, Golden Axe probably 500 megs.
Oh man, if that.
Yep. When I put the, I guess it's over that shoulder this way, that stuff on the legends behind me, like you download stuff or whatever. It's like, here's this game, like the X-Men arcade game or something like that. It's like 20 megs. Like it's nothing.
That's all they could do back then.
Yep. It's pretty
Did you hear
amazing.
And that was a lot of storage back then. That's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you hear they're doing a special Simpsons arcade cabinet?
Yes. They are also releasing an X-Men one also.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's going to be a 4-player X-Men cabinet. It's up for pre-order right now, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, those things are expensive for sure. They are not they're not cheap. I'm going to wait for once the firmware goes out of beta.
Excuse me.
People are going to try other drives, and it really, the problem is not that other drives won't work. It's that the PlayStation requires so much throughput that there's only a handful of drives that will work, that are fast enough to do it, and you still get the PlayStation experience. So the Firecudas are one of those. If I had to guess, the Western Digital Blacks will be on that list, and the Samsung 980 Pros will be on that list as well, because they perform at the same level of that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So.
Yeah. Very cool.
I really I'm not gonna lie, when I got the PlayStation for Extra Life, the hardest thing for me has been I really want to play Ghost of Tsushima. I really do.
I recently got a PS4 and I've been playing through Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now, are you talking about Spider-Man or Miles Morales?
Spider-Man.
Oh, the first one?
I've got Miles Morales too, but I haven't started it yet.
Gotcha. Yeah. For whatever reason, PlayStation, there's not a lot of PlayStation games that excite me, much of it, but there's usually one or two. Spider-Man was one of those. Ghost of Tsushima looks good. They're about to drop a new DLC, and they're saying this DLC isn't just skins and a couple extra missions. It's a whole thing equivalent to the first island, I guess. So it's a lot of stuff.
Oh dang.
And so they're releasing a PS5 enhanced version. I'm I really want to play it. But apparently it's coming to PC at some point, so I figure after I have 200 hours in Witcher, I'll be able to go do that.
And that's the thing about the new Halo. It being also on PC means I don't have to worry about the availability of the, Xboxes.
Mm-hmm.
I can just get it on PC, and that'll be so much better.
That's true.
We are not sure what's going on with Church's hair. He sent us a picture of getting a haircut. That's all we know. And the picture we got, I hope, was, shall we say, a partially completed haircut.
Somebody talked about a mullet. Somebody said something about a mohawk.
Nice.
I don't know that either of those is actually going to happen. In fact, I know neither of those is going to happen.
Well, I'm disappointed.
Wait till Extra Life.
Yes. So speaking of Extra Life, I keep trying to convince Misty to let me do the monkey tail mustache for $10,000 for Ace. I'll do the monkey tail. She keeps telling me no.
How long would you have to keep it for? Is the question.
See, this is my thought: is raising $10,000 gets you the monkey tail, and whatever interval of money that you raise after that dictates how long you keep it.
Oh, okay.
So for every $1,000, it's an additional day or a week or something. So she keeps telling me no.
Once it's on the internet, it's there forever. So
it's true. It's very true. Nick, you'll remember Anthony from Sound Pony.
Yeah,
he does St. Jude stuff every year.
Nice.
And he raised enough money. I may have had a little something to do with this with some friends. Basically, he had to shave his beard, his head, everything.
Oh dang!
Buzz the whole thing. And so as his wife is basically doing this, they did the monkey, they did various things in process.
That's what you had. That's a mandatory thing. I mean,
exactly right. I don't know that I would go the full buzz, but the beard might be up for grabs for the right amount of money.
When I shaved my beard, when Harper was maybe 2, I left the mustache. and since then, we have an epic photo of me with just a mustache and them behind me questioning my judgment.
Nice.
was
I think I've seen that
Shortly
photo.
after that, it was gone, but still.
Here's the thing: if you don't try and pull off a Magnum, like, what's the point? Like, you
Yeah.
gotta have the Magnum PI
Mine was-
mustache.
Mine was right here.
Yeah, gotta have the Magnum
Did
PI.
not look good. Did not
So-
look good. So
Gotta have the Magnum. Yep.
yeah. So that's cool. Where they're not local anymore, though, are they?
No, they're
Anthony?
in Colorado.
That's what I thought.
If I make it over to Denver for because Denver's doing their con Halloween
Yeah.
weekend. Basically, they're calling it. I don't remember what they're calling it, but I mean, it's Denver Comic Con. It's Fan Expo, the same group who does Dallas now. They're doing it. It's going to be like 75% of the size. But they've announced some people like Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling and Kristen Crook and stuff like that from Smallville are going to be there, and some other people. Could be an interesting time. So I do owe Anthony during his last fundraiser, he offered up something where basically his wife would hit him in the face with a pie, I think it was.
Okay.
And I worked a side deal that I get to hit him in the face with a cake. And I have not yet seen him to do this. And so I have this outstanding. So if I do make it to Denver Comic Con for that, there will probably be a video of me on his Twitch channel. Because he does like Zwift twitching, or he does Zwift on Twitch. That's difficult to say. And some other stuff, and raises a bunch of money for charity and things. And there will probably be a video of me hitting him in the face with a pie, or probably a cake. It should be a cake.
Cake. Okay.
It's gonna be a cake. It's gonna be amazing.
That's awesome.
Was there a stipulation on what type of cake?
Nope, my choice.
I was
That's
gonna say,
the
I think
yellow cake.
yeah, people cheat with pie because they make it more like more frosting than anything else.
Yeah.
But with cake, I mean, you're gonna have some substance to that. It's gonna
I
be
mean, I feel like it
dense.
might have to be like a layer cake, like with the
Yeah.
front, like the stuff inside, like maybe some sort of like pineapple upside down cake. Like, I don't know. His wife is
well,
an excellent cook, so apparently. So this
you
is gonna
have
be
time
amazing.
to consider, I guess.
I mean, here's the thing. I assume they have a Sam's or a Costco. It's gonna be like, I need a 4x6 cake. Inches? No, feet. Like, I'm gonna rent a U-Haul truck. I'm gonna take it to where they live.
There you go.
So
Commitment.
it could be fun.
So how do you project that into his face?
I don't know. Springs of some kind.
Okay.
I'll have to Wile E. Coyote it. Like he just feel like it's gone horribly wrong. I broke his nose. That's my only concern.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
like actual injury.
A valid
So-
concern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if you go the Wile E. Coyote route.
Yes. At that point, injury is basically guaranteed.
There will be anvils, there will be springs,
Dynamite,
possibly a
roadrunners.
rocket. Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
Let's see
Well,
here.
Let's see. We've got how one game's delisting pokes a hole in the Xbox Game Pass promise.
I mean, it kind of does. It kind of doesn't. I mean, people just, every time something goes away, people are going to complain, say, hey, Game Pass is supposed to have everything, and now you're taking stuff away. So,
True.
No, it's a licensing problem, isn't it?
yeah.
Is it
so.
music?
You
is
know
it-
what? It doesn't actually specify. I mean, the article talks about how, most licensed games, whether it's the music or it's, I mean, in Forza, I wouldn't be surprised if it's, well, it can't be the cars because they've still got those for the later versions in the series. So, yeah probably is the music. But games tend to go away after 4 years. And they just,
Game
they
Pass,
haven't.
they're like the internet. It lives forever.
You like to think. But yeah, so really just another game's going away. It's Forza Motorsport 7. So if you like that game, now's the time to either buy it or lose it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there'll be another one on the horizon.
I'm sure it'll
Horizon.
Horizon, nice. There is a lot of what's interesting, I find interesting about Game Pass is Microsoft released their earnings thing this week during an earnings call.
Oh,
Um,
don't tell me. I'm going to be sick.
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but so much of it is around subscription and whatever service. Like it's a huge number, which is exactly what they were trying to do. So you also wonder, like, are they taking it off as a prelim to the new Forza coming out? Like it's how when a year ago or something, like you could watch a bunch of movies or whatever on Netflix, and then those movies get sequels and all of a sudden they disappear off Netflix and you have to buy them.
Yeah.
Like you have to wonder if it's a play like that.
Might be. In the past, I think the article was saying that they have waited until the new version of the game came out. So in this case, there's a duel between the Horizon version of the series and the Motorsport version of the series. And whenever the new Motorsport comes out, then the old Motorsport goes off. And in this case, they just haven't brought in the new Motorsport yet to replace it. So it's leaving a hole for that specific type of game. But yeah, I think that's the main thing, is just every month, whenever they announce the new games, they also announce the games going away. And every month I add to the agenda, hey, and by the way, here's 3 articles saying we are so mad that these things are going away. Bring back our games.
What we need is for one of the corners, like here, we just need like a rolling, like a credits thing, almost like these are the games that are going away from your various passes. Games we've lost. That's right. Just like they do at the Oscars.
Yes.
So
no, but I've thought about a couple of times just doing like a little highlight video of, hey, this game is awesome and it's going away, so play it now or buy it or whatever,
Yeah.
Last month or the month before, Wargroove was one of the ones that went off, and I have been addicted to Wargroove lately. I've been playing so much of it. I love it. It's amazing. But I had to buy it, and I'm kind of glad I did. It's nice to support the developer.
For sure. Yeah, but that's even if a game is on Game Pass, if I really enjoy it, like they'll either get me with the DLC at some point, or I'll end up buying the game in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, were you the one that added this article? Because the clown in that image is frightening.
It is frightening. It
no,
is.
that was not me.
Yeah. That was
very
me.
realistic clown, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
I have not played the game.
I mean,
I'm not concerned about it going away. I'm just saying.
I'm not either.
It's going away.
I am awful at racing games. You've seen me drive a Ghost. Would you trust me behind the wheel of any of these cars? Like, I wouldn't.
I mean, it's the type of game. This is a really simulated type game. The arcade type games are a lot more fun, and I think would be more up your alley.
If my cars cannot shoot rockets or drop oil for people to spin out on, or potentially throw turtle shells, I'm really not interested.
You shouldn't be. Those aren't games. I can go outside and I can drive a car right now. It's not what's fun about it.
It's when I can shoot rockets out of said
Yes,
cars. That's what's fun about it.
The oil slicks, the turtle shells, and the rockets.
Yeah,
true.
Exactly.
That
So
is
Capcom
true.
wants to know if players want more Ace Attorney. I know nothing about this game, so I'm going to say no. What about you guys?
Yes, Ace Attorney is awesome.
Okay, talk about it.
I've never played this.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the Ace Attorney games originally, oh man, what was the first one on? I want to say it was on the DS. Basically, it's kind of it's an investigative type game. You have crimes that have been committed, and you are the lawyer who is trying to defend your client. And you go investigate the crime scenes. You spend your time in court. You cross-examine the witnesses. Everyone has seen at least one meme of the lead character, Phoenix Wright, doing the pose where he's like pointing and he's shouting "Objection!" That's the thing that everyone in the entire world knows about. And I mean, it's kind of goofy, and it's silly, but I think they were a lot of fun.
Does he ever use his sword?
In court?
He has a sword in the image where he's pointing.
It's true.
So the newest Ace Attorney games, so those were the Phoenix Wright games. They have had a couple of them featuring different characters besides Phoenix Wright. Um, the newest one is, I believe, the one that has the screenshot there. It's actually kind of a steampunky London type game. It's called Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, I believe.
Yeah.
And you are a lawyer, and you're partnered with Herlock Sholmes, I believe the character's name is.
Oh,
and
that guy.
yes. And it's apparently throughout the entire game. Again, same concept. You're investigating crimes, and he keeps coming up with these just elaborate reasons why things happened, and you, as the lawyer, have to say, "No, wait, this is what the facts say." But yeah, Herlock Sholmes, I believe, is the name, and he's clearly just a ripoff of Sherlock Holmes,
I don't know, what
but
you're
a little
talking
more
about.
goofy. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. But yes, they're a lot of fun, and I definitely would encourage people to give them a try. If you like, I mean, it's very much in the spirit of the old, like, point and click puzzle games. You're trying to figure out this doesn't belong here, or this person's lying because it conflicts with the evidence already on record, because there's a whole thing about the court part. But it's a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable.
Interesting. Sounds extra lifeable.
Yeah, I'd say give it a try. I have the Phoenix Wright series on PC and Steam, and it's I got them originally, back on the actual console, but I thought I liked them enough that I rebought them, and they have a fun soundtrack too, by the way.
Oh, like a good soundtrack.
But yeah, they're goofy characters and crazy, elaborate, usually murder plots, and yeah, there's a little bit of, like, in the old ones, there's a little bit of mysticism. Your partner gets killed, and then there's somebody else that can channel her spirit, and it's you learning to, I guess, live in this really weird world. And then they, again, completely went off the rails and brought in Sherlock Holmes.
I like it. So the
I do
answer
too.
to that is yes, then.
I think so. I would like more. I am enjoying it. I
Well,
haven't
fine.
played the new one yet, but
Go for it then. Fine.
I think there's a game for everybody, and I just want to say that's a good game. I enjoy it.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, now we get into the sticky wickets of games.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Sticky Wickets.
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard.
Ooh,
Oh,
boy.
dear.
Oh, dear,
So-
indeed.
Who would like to start the conversation?
Do we need more Activision Blizzard games?
No.
No, we don't.
Here's the deal. All the evidence that's come out, and I'm speaking for myself here, all the evidence come out is so disturbing, and it keeps coming. Like, that's the thing. Now, I mean, there was a time in Activision Blizzard with World of Warcraft when it was like the biggest game in the universe and all these things. And it sounds like some of that went to their head a bit, like we are untouchable. And some of the things, this is the part that concerns me. I feel like we only have a small piece of this, even though the things that have come out are awful and horrendous, and people should be fired and or arrested for said things. I really feel like this probably isn't the first time someone's threatened to sue them or has sued them or whatever that got bought off because they're Activision Blizzard and they had the money to do whatever.
Yeah.
The only silver lining to any of this would be, there was we talked about it weeks ago or months ago at this point, the crunch time thing for game developers, like basically working 20-hour days, just to get a game released. We saw it with Cyberpunk and, other stuff. And there's talk about, we're going to make games more, game development more friendly, more not as whatever. And you heard about that for a while, and you had a couple of companies who said this is what we're doing or whatever, but you haven't really heard much about it since. To me, this might be the catalyst for wholesale change in that industry. Because, Like, make no mistake, Activision Blizzard is about to lose billions of dollars. Like, it's gonna be it's gonna be a bloodbath. But because they have World of Warcraft, they're always going to be around. Like, it's hard to find anything positive in something like this, and certainly, personally, like, I support all the people who walked out, everybody who left, all of those things, because there is no place in the world for that kind of behavior. I mean, a Cosby suite? Are you kidding me? How tone deaf can you be? Like, and really, this is going to destroy some people's careers. This is going to destroy some people's lives. And for the people who've come forward and put themselves on Front Street and said, look, this happened to me, and becoming the face of this, not only is that an incredibly brave move, the impact that those people are going to have, I don't know that they will ever fully understand what their sacrifice and what everything that they're going to go through with making all this stuff public. I don't know that they quite will ever understand the full impact of what they're going to have in this industry. I mean, this is paradigm shifting. This is huge, and I just you hope that people listen, that developers listen, and things like that. There needs to be a wholesale leadership change at Activision Blizzard. Here's the thing: they're a public company. Like, they are publicly traded. Their stock took a massive hit. It didn't go to zero or anything, but it took a hit because at the end of the day, some people are in it for the revenue, and that's all they care about. But a public company has shareholders. Shareholders can hold people accountable. And as more of this stuff comes out, that's, my hope is that many, many people are held accountable for this. And they are not helping themselves at all, because one of the first things that they did was they hired a law firm that's basically a union buster.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, you need a PR firm over there, like, or something, because that's about the worst thing you could do. Because, I mean, really, because we've talked about it before, like, game developer unions would change the industry in such a tremendous way. But unions have this, I don't know, there's a stigma about it in some respects. But when the abuse is probably the best word to put it, the abuse of people, both personally, professionally, and things like that, is this widespread, the best way to do is stick together. So that's just my thought. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
Well, I just learned more about what's going on while you were talking. So, because I have not had time to follow it, have not been following it. But I would agree, if anything of what I read is true, which is, to say that I believe that it probably is true. There's very little reason for someone to make up a lie. Matter of fact, there's like a statistic that if people have been in a, like, it's more centered to kids, but the likelihood that someone is going to say something in the form of a lie in that manner is minimal, if not anything. And it's usually connected with something else that's gone on. And that's the thing that they said for fear of the other thing. So, I just hope that whoever needs to be held accountable is held accountable, because we don't live in a time frame where you can treat people that way, and nobody deserves to be treated in a way that's reflective of any of the practices that it sounds like have been at play. So
yeah, and Gav, you're right. It's something that I think we needed it to happen, or I guess to become public at a studio this big. We've had like little smaller accusations at others, kind of over the last few years, but it feels like there really needed to be some kind of a big company impacted in a big way to really start to make a difference. And hopefully this is it. I know that, there have been little things that people in the community have been trying to do. There was I think a brief, I don't want to call it a protest, but people were not playing Activision games for like a couple hours this week, and I think that's a good step. honestly, I'm trying to see, besides Destiny, I don't know that I've spent any money in any Activision games in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is something that I think we as a community need to say, hey, I know what you make, but you got to treat people right. And I think
Yep.
that type of environment's got no place anymore.
You've got to wonder too, because the Bungie split with Activision quite a while ago.
They did, yeah.
You have to wonder if they didn't know or heard or whatever, because of all the game studios of anybody, the most inclusive, unless it's just like a front, the most inclusive is Bungie, like by far, because they're on the front of every social cause. I'm admittedly a Bungie fanboy, but whatever, sue me.
Me too.
So that does not, to me, like that doesn't fit with Bungie, and you have to wonder, like it's as soon as these accusations came out, Bungie went like public statement immediately and said this is not okay. There's to me, I just, in this industry, like I love video games. Like I love video games. And I will have a personal issue like supporting Activision in any game going forward personally. Now these are accusations and things are supposed to be handled in the court of law, but here's the thing, there's going to be a settlement, there's going to be NDAs, we're probably never going to get the whole story.
Right.
But to me, like I don't want to support a company to do this. Like people are going to make a bunch of money on Activision stock because they're going to buy it now. In 2 years from now or whatever, you hope that they have reformed or whatever, or people just forgot. Like, I'm not gonna. It's to me, it's difficult for me to support a company like that, even if they brought out the greatest video game of all time.
Yeah.
And that's it's one of those things. You just it's the world we live in, unfortunately. But I am grateful for the people who have come forward, who have said, this is what's going on. This is how it's been. The people who have left, the people who, and like really start holding some people accountable. And they've said that some of the people who have been accused in these statements no longer work at Activision. Like those incidents were investigated, they were dismissed. Okay. But
has the climate changed?
It has the climate changed, and that is one person in a very large company. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, short of like a wholesale, and I mean a wholesale leadership change over there, like, I don't know. I mean, Activision will live. I mean, Activision isn't going to go away. Like they've been around too long. They own too many IPs. They're just going to survive. But we're not going to be able to kill them like in the company, but you don't have to support them either.
Right.
So
did you watch any of E3?
I did not, actually.
So the Take-Two panel, Take-Two, in charge of 2K Games and Rockstar and all these, their whole panel was just a discussion on inclusivity in the gaming industry.
Okay.
And there's something kind of funny about, I mean, I don't know if that was just genuinely what they felt needed to be talked about or if they were trying to cover up something. But there is something kind of funny about the group behind like Grand Theft Auto talking about how important it is that, we include other people in the development process. And then like a week later, we find out, oh, and by the way, Activision Blizzard is terrible to everyone.
Yes. Yep. It's like you said, if the people are talking about it and doing what needs to be done, then great. I don't have a lot of. I know this is going to shock you both, but I don't have a lot of hope that there will be a significant change at Activision without a significant leadership change. Like, and and I don't know enough about the upper structure of Activision, whether the current CEO was there when this is happening or not. But I don't know. Like, it's rough. It really is. And I mean, really, you look at this is the video game version of Me Too, and the Me Too movement has seen significant change in Hollywood. Like, they have affected significant change. So it's entirely possible that the video game industry is going to be better for this. It's just terrible of the price that some people had to pay while, that this was happening. So
I do have hope. Sorry.
Glad somebody does. So,
Okay. Well,
we've
On that note,
way down.
Be careful where you download things on Windows 11 because you can get a lot of malware.
Oh yeah.
well, no.
And Windows 11 isn't. And Windows 11 itself is not malware, or it is malware.
Windows 11 is malware, unless you get it through the actual Microsoft Insider's preview site. Yeah. But yeah, if you just download some random link, it may very well be
like
pre-infected.
Microsift.com is not where you should get it.
For your convenience, we've already installed the viruses before you get it.
Before you get it. Yes, that's the efficient way to do it. That's the rough thing too. Like, when those installers and stuff gets out, and there are some things in Windows 11 that I'm fairly excited about, actually, in terms of gaming. But yeah, in the world we live in now, don't trust it. Like, I have one master Windows 11 installer that I trust that I keep on a USB stick, or 10, not 11, 10 that I trust. I haven't dived into 11 yet, but I am excited about the basically SSD to GPU direct communication for video games, bypassing the CPU completely. In terms of for graphical textures and things like that, that transfer is going to be significant. And that's a Windows 11 feature. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be. It'll probably be a couple of years before a game really takes advantage of it. So, Witcher 4.
Infinite, I'm sure. Halo Infinite. Day one.
That's
what they're pushing it for.
Really, that's not that's an interesting point. You also have to wonder if it will have that support for that feature, coming out at the same time. Whenever they release it for PC.
Possibly.
Kind of like how they had to release Halo 2 with Vista. It's going to be the same type of lock-in.
That's true. You can only play Halo Infinite on, Windows Vista. So, we're bringing it back.
All right.
The worst operating system ever.
It's what everybody's been clamoring for.
Yes.
Nostalgia.
That's right.
Okay. What do you want to talk about? Because kind of along the same lines of big companies getting sued.
Let's
Disney's
talk about Disney.
Disney's going through its own little thing here.
Oh man.
Where do you want to start?
It may not be the one you're thinking of.
You want to start with Emma Stone, or do you want to go to Black Widow?
We have to start with Black Widow, right?
Let's talk about Widow.
That's what started it.
Okay.
So, interesting thing, and really, this is kind of this is unheard of territory. So really, the crux of the lawsuit is they released Black Widow day and date on Disney Plus Premiere. Now, as we know, Black Widow's been done for what, 3 years, 2 years? The movie's been, and so when they wrote those contracts, her salary was based on box office earnings. The key word there is box office, not Disney Plus. And her Scarlett Johansson's representatives went to Disney, said, "Look, we need to settle this," because other companies did. Warner Brothers settled with the crew from Wonder Woman and stuff like that. They bought out their contracts essentially because they had the same thing in there. It's based on box office. Probably made more money that way than actually the Wonder Woman box office, but it's a whole other thing. And Disney never responded to them. Now, one, that's pretty crappy for somebody who's been part of the biggest franchise of all time
Super
and
crappy.
has been part of movies that have made you billions of dollars.
Hmm.
And so Black Widow comes out, does great first weekend, does really nice, really good numbers first weekend, and then falls 65% in week 2. And I think it is relevant and probably accurate to say that the Disney premiere stuff had a pretty decent impact on week 2.
Yeah.
Because everybody who wanted to see it in a theater, like in that setting, saw it in week 1. And so she is now suing Disney for lost earnings because of this. Disney decided to weaponize the fact that she has made $20 million already in their response. And basically, the best way to put it, they also accused her of being tone deaf about COVID. And they basically gave the equivalent of, well, the exposure she got was worth money. Like, that's really, I mean, basically, I'm just like, she's Black Widow. Exposure? Seriously? Like, come on.
Horrible.
And so she is going to be the trailblazer for this. And Emma Stone, it sounds like she is probably following pretty closely behind because of Cruella. They did the same thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. It has to be done. Like every new contract in the world at this point, movie-wise, probably has this language in it now. But there's some big movies in the past couple of years that those people don't have that stuff in there because it wasn't Disney Plus didn't exist then.
Right.
And the thought of releasing it day and date at the same time for $30 or whatever. Like, here's the thing: I don't know if the box office receipts that they're talking about include part of that $30 from Disney, but I don't think so because I think Disney Plus is technically a separate company. So
I think it is. Yeah.
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 That's how big corporations hide their dollars and shell corporations with bank accounts in the Cayman Islands and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, to me personally, like I think she has every leg to stand on here, even if she is a poser. But have you seen Black Widow, Nick?
No.
Okay, so you don't get that comment, but it's great. You've got to watch it.
But I'll watch it at some point. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
She's a poser. I get it. It's cool.
The character, not Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, okay. Good good clarity there.
Yeah, the character.
Let's not make any mistake.
Okay. Okay, so basically I'm gonna spoil a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit.
Okay, go ahead. I'll pull up my headphones.
No, this is for you actually. No, put it back on.
Oh.
No,
okay.
This is for you. The reason I call her a poser is there is a section where her sister calls her a poser because of all of her superhero action poses that she has done. Like when she lands and stuff like that, so she calls her a poser. It's hilarious.
It is very funny.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, I'd sue too if I was Scarlett Johansson, but
I think it only makes sense. When she made the movie, Disney Plus wasn't even a thing really. And there was nothing talking about COVID changed everything,
Sure.
and COVID changed how businesses have to operate to make revenue. And so they adapted and they expanded. And, I kind of feel like she's justified in where she's coming from as well as Emma Stone, The hybrid release system is something that is awesome, but at the same rate, I just don't know that it makes any difference. What?
Josh asked if that was the vault of glass on my wall. Yes, it is.
Oh.
I mean, you're right.
I don't have control over comments right now for some reason. So Nick's in charge.
I think it is a reality that we all have to kind of face. But I mean, she's not the only one that's going to be having this issue. And even probably not even the only one, in this movie that lost wages because they decided that they wanted to use their own platform for distribution rather than, leaving it just to the theaters. I think that's something that is very shady on Disney's part, but I mean, I do like it.
Yeah, it's I agree that this is bigger than just her, and everyone's like, oh, who's going to take on Disney? Well, you've already paid her $20 million. She has how many earnings from the other movies already?
And she's dead, so she's not coming back anyway.
She's not coming back, so she's ready to burn this bridge. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to burn this mother down. Like, this is what's going to happen. And so, yeah,
She is the hero we need right now.
exactly right. She
Not
is
the one we deserve, but she's the one we need.
She's the one we need.
So she'll sue.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, like I said, I think when these movies were completed, the thought of hybrid releasing was just not a thing.
Right.
Very similar to school systems when we started school. Like, just everything has changed because of COVID, and to expect someone, regardless of how much money they've earned from something, to not want a piece of what their likeness and skill and all the things earned you is ridiculous. And then to argue it as though, well, you already got this much money when you have $1 bajillion.
Right.
And to say that her asking for more money in the fact of the release, and calling it, what did they call? They said very specific language. What was it? It was like
I don't think we
blatant
can use that
disregard.
language.
Well, no, it was like blatant disregard and something else. Anyway, but they opened up a theme park in the middle of a pandemic. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be two ways about it. Like, you're just mad that you got caught and she called you to the carpet about a movie she made, and the way that you released it was not in the contract. You broke the contract. Deal with it.
Yep.
Pay the woman her money. Learn from it. Every contract beyond that, we will do dual releases.
And,
This
and,
is your
that's,
cut?
and that's what every
Yeah.
other studio did. That's what Warner Brothers did with Wonder Woman and things like that. The fact that Disney just ignored her with this, and apparently it's not just her who's pissed. Apparently Feige is very pissed about it. And you don't like.
I thought he was mad at her, not at the.
No, I think he's mad at the article I read is he's pissed at Disney
Oh, okay.
of how basically they treated them. So to me, he's your golden goose. He's not somebody you like. I think at some point this will probably get settled. But the thing is, like, they could have dealt with this very early on, but they're like, no, we didn't. There's some great language in a contract, because I will tell you, they get this in front of a judge. I'm not sure Disney wins this one. Like,
I just can't see if they signed a contract saying they would release it one day with the expectation that at some point it would be on Disney Plus, because surely they were forward thinking enough in that regard. I can't see how they win this either, especially when you're talking about a potential earnings of $50 million.
yeah,
Right.
It's just it's bad business, and I get that Disney doesn't want to look like they've done anybody wrong, but you do better in this situation to accept where you messed up, earn it or own it, and just pay the money and move on.
yeah. I agree.
Because you're not winning this situation with two actresses that just had the same thing occur.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be more.
Yep.
The way that they released Endgame to where it was out for a while and then it was on Disney Plus was probably the model they used for both of these movies. When you do that dual release, I mean, because they've done Milan, they've done Raya, unless those were also in that same way, potentially those play a factor as well.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think it's I don't know how they win this. And really, at this point, I think they probably stand to lose way more money because of how this is going on than they stand to win. Because here's the thing: Scarlett Johansson, Emma Stone, top tier, first credit level actors. Like, if they're like, I'm never doing a Disney movie again.
Oof.
Like, maybe they don't care. Maybe Disney doesn't care, and they probably don't. But I mean, that's the thing. you don't think that they know people and they have friends and like that this is not gonna at some point been like, yeah, I'll do your movie, but guess what? Now for Warner Brothers, it's 10 million. For you, it's 20 because you won't take care of your people.
Right.
Like now Disney, bajillion dollars, so maybe they don't care.
Yeah,
But
but again, I
they
mean,
probably own the island that their bank account is on.
You don't.
I'm sure.
You don't run a business though by just going, yeah, okay, we don't care. Like
Yeah.
at some point, that hurts Disney down the road from a fan. I mean, you don't earn the money without people going to
Yeah.
watch the movie, without people wanting the movie. They have a litany of Marvel movies coming up. Those could easily tank. You know, it all depends on how they work through this. I feel like because you really just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen if you mess with these two ladies over money, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
If they signed a contract, they're right. There's just no way around it. You know, if their contract didn't specify a dual release, they're right.
Yeah.
You know?
The only the random language to it is their earnings are based, they get a percentage of box office. And the fact of the matter is they knowingly subverted box office earnings by releasing it at the same time.
Exactly.
Like on a different platform. Like they made that decision. So,
and I get why they made it from a company standpoint.
For sure.
But you have to accept that unless there's some legalese in there that specifically denotes not Disney Plus earnings, I don't see how they win this battle.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
She needs Ace Attorney.
Yeah. She does.
Yes.
As long as he's got a knife.
It's true.
Or a sword, I mean, excuse me.
Yep.
Objection.
So let's also talk about Disney because they have joined a litany of other companies that have decided to require their employees get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Okay. All right.
Hey, here's the deal. I'm just speaking the facts.
It's true.
Businesses can make that happen.
We're wading into a lot of things today.
Yeah, this was a rough day.
I am not telling anybody to do anything. I'm just saying Disney's doing this. They've joined
I'll
hospitals.
tell people to do stuff. They don't have to listen to me.
Yeah, well, nobody listens to me either, so it's okay.
Feels like last week when Nick was telling people not going to tell people how to drive. I said, no, I will tell you how to drive. Don't hit people.
Yeah.
Sam's got a point.
It's rude.
So, but
it's very rude.
Anyway, moving on.
On that part, I mean, you mentioned the theme park thing, them opening the theme park and all this other stuff. Like from a company standpoint, I get it. I do. It's weird. It's a weird legal area. But the fact of the matter is, Josh says Nick's about to give us a dad talk. Nice.
No, I am not, because it is not going to change somebody's mind. Yeah. And I'm not going to put myself out there like that.
I need a little disclaimer window. These opinions are only the opinions of whatever. Due to some recent things or whatever that I've been around and things like that, like, I'm sorry. If you have a reasonable objection to the vaccine, okay, I can respect a reasonable objection. I cannot for unreasonable objections. I'm sorry. Like, there's been too many people, like people that are important to me, have been transferred from hospital to hospital because there wasn't a bed at said hospital because of there's people who were basically in the hospital with COVID and 99.9% of those people are unvaccinated. I can respect people's personal choices until you start impacting the people that mean something to me. And then I'm going to become very cranky about it. So, just saying.
Well,
my 5G service has never been better. I'm like 5GE over here.
The reality of it is that people have an ability to recognize other people's lives and the impacts that they have on them. But for some reason, they're blind in this situation, and I don't understand that. But that being said, that's as far as I'm going to go down that road. I don't know. I have very strong opinions about it, and I'm not going to get into that, and I'm not going to have that on the internet, so it's all good. But I just hope that soon we can get to a place where everybody kind of recognizes we got to take care of each other during this situation instead of putting each other at odds.
This goes back to how many things that we've talked about today. Just the general theme of like Activision not taking care of its employees, Disney not taking care of its people, like in different areas, obviously, in different ways, but like just take care of your fellow man. Like that's really all this world needs to function way less screwed up, in my opinion.
Don't drive your car into somebody.
Don't hit people with your car. Like
controversy. That's what we're about.
Just I've been in one of those moods for like 3 days. Just spoiling for an argument about something.
Brother, I've been there for over a year and a half, so I got you. It's all good.
Oh man.
So on that note,
Expendables 4. No.
Expendables 4.
Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
I am excited and sad that it's not Chadwick.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see him get the Marvel tribute that inevitably will be there. I think it'll be cool.
I agree. There's going to be some. So, I mean, just speaking of controversy, there are controversies whether or not the actress who plays Shuri is basically going to be there because of some things that she has said publicly. So we don't know because there's been another actress who has been brought in, but nobody knows what she's doing. But of course, this is classic Marvel. But yes, the from some of the spoilers and stuff that have come out with Wakanda Forever, it looks like there will be some pretty significant tribute to, something that he has done. Somebody also said that they also wonder if that was not something that existed for Endgame when initially the snap happened and he disappears. That they erected that then.
Maybe.
But I mean, there's also been a lot of talk about Michael B. Jordan coming back, and him becoming the Black Panther.
Yeah,
because a lot of people really love that character.
Good character.
So I don't know. It's
well, in the text on the pillars in the poster or in the background of this screenshot. Or it's a video that supposedly like behind the scenes of Wakanda Forever on the set, and there's Wakandan on the pillars, writing on the pillars, and supposedly the translation is "T'Challa, our hero, 'twas an honor, Wakanda Forever." So because inevitably they'll embed other aspects of recognition for him, but if you can do that as well, that's next level stuff. Because
they
pretty cool.
they refuse to recast. So I mean, I think,
and I get that because kind of like when you and I went and watched Black Panther in person, that was the first time that someone other than the stereotypical hero had an identity in a movie. And with that in mind, I can totally understand why you wouldn't want to recast that. Yep. So
and they made it interesting, like basically the Black Panther, like being the Black Panther is something that can be passed on. And
it's a heritage thing.
Yeah.
So
kind of like Cap's shield.
True.
So
that's very true.
Very cool. Very cool. And Batman's helm.
Also true.
Mm-hmm.
Also true sometimes, but most people end up just taking a different name because, I mean, there's already a Batman. So I'll be a Batwing, a Batmite, a Bat, you know,
Bat Bear.
Bat Bear, Bat Girl, Bat Woman.
So,
Like,
Disney Plus series of Hawkeye looks to launch on Thanksgiving.
I was hoping
ah.
Hannah would be here because she
I
would,
was too.
yeah, have something to say. But yeah, we're excited.
I am too. I'm
Looks
excited
great.
to learn more about the character. I'm excited to see how it connects with everything. I'm pumped. I think it's going to be good. You get Kate Bishop for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be good.
it's going
I
to be
hope
a
they
good one.
drop like the first couple episodes. I wish they just dropped them all, but they won't.
Right.
But think about it though. They're kind of bringing like Disney is known for always, their movies, right? So when we were kids, they released a movie on a Sunday. It was usually a Disney, or I say released, local channels, Fox 23 or whatever, would show a Disney movie on Sunday nights at like 7 o'clock. That was your family time before the week started. They're doing the same thing. They're
Appointment television.
they're just, well, and it's not even appointment television because you don't have to watch it at 7. You could watch it at 6 a.m., 5 p.m. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's bringing that time, that family back together. So, and the other thing is, don't they also have the ability to where you can watch it with your friends?
I think they just added something. Yeah.
Can't you like simulcast it? Because Netflix, I think does that now too.
Yeah, I think
So-
Disney Plus, they did. There's a commercial I think that I've seen of like a young girl and like a child and like a
Yep.
grandpa or something like that,
Mhm.
where they
Yep.
could email them a link. I don't even know that the other person has to have Disney Plus.
I don't think so. I think it's a one. I may try it just to see if it works with my dad, but yeah, I mean, you can watch a movie with your family that's not even there, and
Yeah.
think about it in terms of where we're at with COVID, even still with the new variant that's kind of taken over. There's going to be people that are separated from other people, and that's kind of another opportunity to continue that continuity of family.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool option.
Very cool.
And there are some third-party extensions out there for your browser where you can also do that. So,
But they have malware.
I mean, only if you use the Windows 11 installer that you just happen to find on Cav's website, which
On
is
Microsoft.
gavnerds.com.
Microsoft.com.
There you go. So, David Ayer shares a personal story about the insight of full Suicide Squad cut. I did not load this, so Cav, take it away.
I didn't load this either.
Okay, Sam, take it away.
So there were a lot of articles this week about essentially the title that everybody's running with is the studio cut of the original Suicide Squad is not David Ayer's cut. We were talking.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for a long time about how people are clamoring for the Ayer cut. The reason I specifically used this article instead of any others is instead of it actually tells it has a link to his full I believe his full tweet where he has it's like a 3-page essay on his history and his background and where he comes from and what he wanted to do and what his story was. And it's a really interesting, I think, look at him as a person. The end of it, he says he's not going to talk anymore about Suicide Squad. He wished everybody else the best of luck. And I think he's gotten a lot of support on Twitter from people like Gunn and people still involved in the series. But I definitely highly recommend that people read through his story. It's fascinating and really illuminates kind of where he comes from as a person.
There you go.
All right. Apparently, the
Thank
new
you.
Suicide Squad that comes out next week. Mojo's up here saying hello. You can see his tail behind me. Like released with like 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Which the last movie to do that I think was Dark Knight. Something like that.
Interesting.
So
Let's
I
hope
mean-
nobody says anything bad in the next 3 days because then they'll tank it.
Right. I was going to say,
I'm
it's
waiting
too
for the-
early to say too much, but
I'm waiting for the review bomb. Mojo, what are
Yeah.
you
Right.
doing? Hi, Mojo. Okay, something's about to get yanked off the desk. I almost guarantee it. Nope.
So Sylvester Stallone shows off a new ring for Expendables 4.
Yeah. I didn't even know this was going to be a thing.
I didn't either. You sound very excited about it, and Harrison Ford's in it. So,
well, yeah, they're working on for.
Oh, and Banderas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go through the list
of who's going to be in or who has been in, because I don't know that they've announced who's been in.
Well, who's in the picture is Mel Gibson, Schwarzenegger, Snipes, Stallone.
I think that's from 3.
Statham, Han Solo, and Banderas.
I think that's from. I think
that's how you know it was from a previous movie. Because now we know
he's dead. Because Han
Solo's not around anymore.
Yeah, I think that's 3. I think that's from Expendables 3. But yeah, so apparently they're working on Expendables 4. It's amazing. It's the greatest, one of the greatest action franchises of all time. I don't know.
Cool ring, man.
I don't know who else you bring into it at this point. Like
The Rock, Vin Diesel,
family.
That's his superpower. He just says family the whole time. Still haven't seen that movie either, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh man, you're missing out.
I don't need friends.
I don't need to see anything because I've seen all the memes.
Yeah,
I mean that pretty much summarizes it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a picture on Instagram of Stallone and Schwarzenegger together. Now they're assuming that they could be talking about Expendables. Like, I don't care. They could be 90 years old still making these movies, and I'd still see it. Like,
they aren't.
They're close.
Isn't that the point?
I also didn't realize that Stallone was working on a new cut of Rocky 4. A new director's cut of Rocky 4. It's being released in November. Rocky versus Drago, the ultimate director's cut. So
Stallone is 75 years old.
Yeah. So he will still be doing this when he's 90.
Still playing Rocky.
Yeah. So we're back and recut Rocky 4, I guess. So yep.
Okay, well,
Expendables 4. Let's do it. The
biggest news in my nerdum is the leaked. I don't even know if it's a leaked poster at this point, but a poster for the new Mandalorian season 3 poster with Grogu, or Baby Yoda as he's more affectionately known, building a lightsaber using the Force with Luke Skywalker, which traditionally is how they would do it per Clone Wars, when they actually demonstrated how they would put that together and assemble it. But his kyber crystal is not blue. It's not green. Definitely not red, even though it could be because he's dabbled with Force chokes.
Kind of worried.
It is yellow. So there is a possibility that we may see another yellow lightsaber in Star Wars moving forward. As of now, the only people that I have seen with one is the Inquisitor, but he was actually not the Inquisitor in the cartoon. He, in the vision, he was a Sentinel at the Jedi Temple, had a yellow lightsaber, and then Rey, of course, had a yellow lightsaber at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Grogu was Rey's baby.
There you go. In the past, right? Because this is before Rey was even born.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. Good call. So
the Force is powerful.
Yeah, right.
It can do
very
things
interesting that
time.
he is in a yellow. Has a yellow kyber crystal.
Now, okay, so school me on this. I know that there are very I know that the white lightsabers are like neutral, right? Is that how that goes?
Typically gray Jedi's.
Gray.
Yeah.
Okay. Is obviously red Sith. Is there anything tied to yellow in particular in terms of why a particular person would be drawn to a yellow crystal?
Well, so the way that I did a little bit of reading after we did the build at Disney, which those lightsabers are actually right behind me, right over there. And I
waited
can show them to
until
you in a second.
After you built it to do the research. Come on, man.
No.
Amateur hour.
No. What I was trying to figure out is why, when we built it, yellow wasn't an option. Like, I was trying to put that together. You can actually walk outside of where you build them and go into a store and buy yellow ones, and swap them out. But but anyhow, the yellow lightsaber is or kyber crystal is typically associated with someone who has earned their rank through study, through school type training, whereas the various colors mean different things. So, like green would be a master of lightsaber techniques, things like that. The reason the lightsabers are red for Sith is because, I guess, originally kyber crystals were stolen from Jedi and or converted because they were already Force users. And when they did, they were red because they were bleeding. Is kind of the way that I've read it. And then Darth Vader times come around. Kyber crystals are harder to find because they're using them for the Death Star and such. They are synthetic, fake kyber crystals, which produce the red glow. So that's kind of my understanding. Is it's somebody that is book smart and has learned their craft and their skill through the study of books, which is why those texts played such a big part.
Sacred texts.
Right, but that's why they played a part with Rey. That's why when she was studying that, when she was training with Leia, that's why you saw them, and that was the thing about it. So
Gotcha.
now in Grogu's case, being that he's 50, I don't really know how that works out for him, but we'll have to see. I know that supposedly, kind of along the same lines, in the Ahsoka series, supposedly we're going to get a real life Ezra Bridger, which is a character from Rebels, as well as a Grand Admiral Thrawn, which she kind of already hinted at Thrawn in Mandalorian when she said, "Where's Thrawn?"
Yeah.
It's kind of like, a no-brainer that's who she was looking for. But again, that is a character in its own right that was in what they've deemed as Legends, and then they pulled him back from Legends, and now he's canon. So really excited to see a live action version of both of those people, because Ezra Bridger is connected to, and get this, connected to the Jedi at the very beginning of Bad Batch. So the Jedi that runs off and jumps over the. Have you watched Bad Batch?
I've not.
I have.
Okay.
I know Sam
So
has.
so
I'm
anyway,
enjoying it.
So at the very first episode, first 15 minutes of the episode, you see a young male Jedi.
Yes.
Okay, he's like a Padawan,
Yes.
and he takes off whenever the clones do Order 66.
That's right. We talked about this.
His voice is like, man, his voice
Yeah,
is
it
not a
makes no
teenager.
sense.
What is the deal? It's because the voice is another character in Rebels. It's the
Right.
same person. It's just he changed his name to Kanan Jarrus. His name in Bad Batch is not Kanan Jarrus, but it's the same person. Lightsaber's the same, whole nine. He leaves the Jedi Order, lives along doing his thing after Order 66, hiding that he's a Jedi, becomes hooked up with all the other characters they've introduced from Rebels when they were younger in the Bad Batch. Ezra Bridger is who they pick up in the very first episode of Rebels. So it's just really cool how they're tying everything together and really making it a little bit more linear for the average fan. So if you watch one thing, you can kind of see those same characters and kind of put it together that way. So it's pretty exciting.
Cool.
And Thrawn is in Rebels, by the way. So.
Cool.
So yes,
right.
Bad Batch, by the way, have you caught up on? Did you watch yesterday's?
No, I'm still fairly behind.
Oh, well, it's still
Is it
really,
totally
really
worth
good.
it?
Really
Totally
enjoying
worth
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been amazing to watch all of the Star Wars stuff that I wish was around when I was a kid. Hang tight. I'm gonna get the two lightsabers, and I'm gonna have to show you
I'll be
Harper's.
right back to.
Oh, okay. Have fun, guys. So I guess I'm just gonna talk about lightsabers for a little bit here. Yellow. It's an interesting color. I'm a fan. I don't know. I think if it were me, I like blue, as you can tell. So that's probably the color I'd go with. Obviously, I like purple, but I think that's probably a bit
Sam Jackson's
presumptuous of me.
Purple.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way I'm getting that. That's crazy. So I remember in oh my goodness, what is that, Nick? Oh, come on,
It's
man.
destroyed.
Oop.
His head fell off.
What is it?
So
Show us.
hang on.
Show us.
That's her droid that she made, and it weighs a ton.
When you say that she made, so does she like to get to customize it? Does she pick like colors and stuff?
So you know how in
Can you put different heads on it?
yeah, no, it has to be
customize the
the type
sounds?
of droid that it is. So it's an R2 or a BB unit.
You can make R2s.
Well, it's an R unit, yeah. So you
Oh
can
my
make like
goodness.
an R5 or whatever you wanted to make, yeah. Okay, this is Harper's. So she's chosen this one. Now I want to ask you what 4 letters might be engraved on this thing. Oh,
I mean,
no,
I don't
it's
think I
dead.
can.
Batteries must be dead on it or something.
Oh man.
Okay, we'll figure that out in a minute.
So 4 letters.
Well,
I
it
mean,
doesn't work
I
now
think that's
because you
a
can't
terrible
see
way
the
to.
color of the blade, but it's purple.
Oh.
So I'll let the joke just play there. And then let's see if mine. Hopefully the batteries aren't dead on mine, but here's mine.
We hope that you're maintaining that better than she is. Oh wow. Oh, that's amazing.
And the blades come out. So you could just carry that around if you wanted to.
Awesome.
Got a little belt carabiner thing on it. So
Very important.
man. Pretty cool.
That's dope.
But all of these little pieces, you pull them apart. And you can change the crystal. The crystal sits right in here. And the way that I understand it is you change the crystal, it changes the color of the blade. So there's some microchip in there that can recognize all that.
Wow,
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And you have to
And
go
each
into.
crystal has different sounds. Hers does not sound like mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, hers
Wow.
is more of a lower hum than mine.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure why. I guess maybe the batteries, maybe it got turned on or something. But it's a purple blade. She chose a amethyst kyber crystal.
Awesome.
So, but supposedly the kyber crystals are clear, and then whenever you put them in your lightsaber, supposedly, of course, Disney's able to change that based on the poster. You know, they can change it at will. Supposedly, once it's in the hilt and ignited, that's when it creates the color. But you asked about the droid build. In like Return of the Jedi, where C-3PO gets blown to pieces and all that stuff's just on a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
So that's how that is. You get in line, like you have to have a reservation. You get in line and run around, and you just have to pick up things as they come around. So, but you can buy different shells for them. So, like if that gets beat up or something, the shells were only like $10. So, I mean, I don't even know that you have to go back there to buy them. I think
exactly. You buy from Jawas.
Yeah, I mean it looks like a Jawa trading post. So yeah, her batteries must be dead. So I'll have to fix that. But it's a purple blade.
I mean, what if somebody breaks into your house?
What do you mean?
If your lightsaber's battery's dead, what are you going to do?
I'll shoot him with my ray gun.
So I
have a bunch of Nerf darts around here, man. We have Nerf battle wars.
When you went there, were they still doing everything? Like everything you pay for is like Imperial credits or this or that. Like the currency was basically Star Wars currency.
Oh, that's amazing.
No.
Apparently not.
In mine,
no, I had to think because we spent the entire day in Star Wars, but we didn't have to buy much. Like no, it was all we just used our cards.
Yeah, when I went,
force powers.
Bracelets. Sorry, we used our bracelets.
You want to give me a lightsaber?
You want to give me a
right?
lightsaber.
Right? No, we used our bracelets for everything. So
cool.
But yeah, it's this little battery pack for it. It runs on I think 2 AA's.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really shocked.
Who would think the most powerful weapon in the universe would take more than a couple of AA's?
Well, but think about it, man. AA's are the most readily available in a disaster because nobody needs them. See what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, I mean that thing. If that thing ran off like 3C batteries, that thing would never be on. Like
exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I mean,
See?
the only thing rarer than a C battery is a 9-volt. I only say this because like I constantly need 9 volts for my like toner and stuff, and I can never find them. So I start stealing them out of my smoke detectors temporarily, and then I realized I changed all my smoke detectors to smart ones, and they all run on AA's instead of 9 volts. So now I don't have
There you go. Yeah. No,
So-
Sam, to explain what I would do if someone broke in, there are a
I was just
cacophony. No.
joking, implying that
Hang
you-
on.
okay.
I've got a good one. We have a cacophony of Nerf-enabled guns
Okay.
that are very spectacular at shooting you in the most uncomfortable places by accident. I know this from experience because we have absolutely destroyed each other
Oh,
shooting
okay.
like from across the house.
I thought you
My
were going to say
kid-
because that's what happened when you tried to break in.
No,
But I'd like to
no,
point out you now live in that house. So
my kid decided she wanted to have a Nerf battle with me. There it goes.
oh wow.
Purple. Her
Purple.
batteries are just dead. So
Nice. That's cool. That's super cool.
That's very cool. Yep.
So yeah,
Oh man.
totally
That's so
worth it.
bad.
Got to put the lightsaber on the charger.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Totally worth it.
That is very cool.
All right. Well, I'm looking in the bottom of trying to figure out how to put this back in. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say.
But Yoda never had this problem.
No, because he had the Force. I'm still learning.
Today I learned the Force gives you the power of AA batteries.
Hey, next time we're at a convention and somebody's got a lightsaber, be like, that run on AA's?
Nice. Yeah,
There we go.
Oh man.
sweet. That's super
Beautiful.
cool.
Whoa, hello. Turned it back on.
That's
So the
super
funnier
cool.
part of building it was the guy, what do they call him at Disney? They call them cast members. So the guy that was one of the cast members that was kind of the guy that owned the workshop. He would say things like, once we do this is the most dangerous part. Don't look down into the hilt, or we'll have another hole in the ceiling. And then everybody laughs. He's like, you laugh now. It's just, so like it was really a pretty cool experience, and I suggest that if you can get to a Disney theme park and do the lightsaber build, the experience alone is worth it. But I understand the financial implications are significant. It's very it's an expensive thing, and I don't know. It was just fun. It was totally worth it. So.
I didn't do the build when I went to mine, but even just I wandered around that area for a really long
Amazing.
time. It's just world immersion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty.
That's
it's
what
pretty
Disney
cool.
does really well.
Yeah.
They do, and I think the Star Wars area was more immersive than other places. Like Epcot was really good about that too, but like then we walked over to Toy Story area. I was like, yeah, I mean, kind of. Miles from Tomorrowland wasn't bad. That was kind of a same kind of deal. I think some of the design of the parks lend itself better to being immersed in it than others. And that's just because they came later and they have more ability to do that. So
Did you go to Jurassic Park?
Nope, we
Okay.
did not. I wanted to, but we did
Yeah.
not. Harper said she wanted to, but we just never made it there.
Oh.
We did go on a safari though, which was pretty cool.
Oh, fun.
At Animal Kingdom, they have a safari, so that's a lot of
That's
fun. And I mean, they drive you around in like this makeshift safari vehicle and all kinds of stuff. It's wild.
Terrifying.
You see
Okay.
raptors.
No, it's not too bad. What'd you say, Kev?
You see raptors.
No. I didn't see any tigers either, but lots of
You're not selling this.
no, but lots of giraffes, elephants, stuff like that. So
Okay.
it was cool.
Then.
It was worth it.
See a lot
And
of
the
alligators.
absolute, hands down, the best pulled pork sandwich I've ever had in my life was at Animal Kingdom.
Really? I
Hands
mean,
down.
There's
sorry.
something to be said that the fact that the meat was probably fresh. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm not saying it.
just saying, what
but
happened to
there's
the
a thing
pig
there.
exhibit? Well,
Yeah. Well,
like,
yeah. Where'd
I mean,
that wild
they
pork
they
go?
say
It
farm
was
to
amazing.
table. I mean, that's theme park to table, I guess. But
It's a new thing.
I mean,
it was good.
if
It
we're
was the
giving
best.
if we're giving food recommendations, when I was in Dallas, I had a cheeseburger from Saltgrass, and oh my god, it was so good.
Saltgrass is good.
Don't we have one of those
Just-
in Tulsa?
We do.
Yep.
I've never eaten at it in Tulsa. It
I
just
haven't
happened to
either.
be
Where the
across
old
from the
celebration
hotel.
station used to be.
And like into my top 5, probably
Really?
my top 3. Like
Saltgrass.
so good. That is probably the closest burger for me that reminds me of the burgers my dad used to make. Like that's the closest thing to it that I've had in 10 years. It's so good.
That's great.
Also good crumble cookies. God, they're like 900 calories a cookie, but I don't care.
Did you guys see? Joni bought. They bought
Yeah.
5 or 6 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they're amazing.
Yeah. We
I
order
wouldn't know.
We order a dozen at a time over here, but we
I just eat
end up-
Oreos. It's fine.
we just end up giving them away. Not like we take some to my mom and then we eat. We order a lot, so we're like, oh, we can give these to our friends. That happens about half the time. Like,
It's fine.
sugar cookies are so good.
Well, anything
Okay.
else, guys? Now that I've shown you my lightsabers and not sold you on going to Animal Kingdom and told you that I ate a pig off of exhibit. I mean, is there anything?
I mean, I really want to make a droid now. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. It makes all kinds of noises and things, and it's got a little remote for it and all that stuff. So
When they made
Pretty cool.
those, those little ones that
Yeah.
they sold at like Best Buy and stuff, they went on deep discount. They were like $30, I think, there at the end.
Yeah.
And I got myself the BB-8, and I got my dad an R2.
There you
And
go.
I mean, the BB-8's nice, but it's not nearly as expressive as the R2. The R2, like, it has so much more personality to it, and I really am kind of disappointed I gave it away.
well, and the cool thing about the droid build is you can get different chips to go in them
Mhm.
that make them say or noises and act differently. And so I was a little overwhelmed trying to help Harper figure that out because I was like, I mean, I don't know. I intentionally kept myself in the dark for years about this entire experience of Star Wars world
Yeah.
because I didn't want to know anything. So I'm trying to help her. And I was like, do we have to buy a chip right now? And they're like, absolutely not. They're hanging over there on the wall. When you're done building, just go listen to them and then pick them. It's like, whew. Because, I mean, there's so many people going through there. You're
Is
in
there
a
like
line,
a super angry chip?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have like I think it's like called
Rage droid.
Rascal or something. But yeah,
Rage
yeah.
droid.
yeah, they have all kinds, or 4 or 5 different versions, and so you just listen to them and whichever one you like. I think you can even buy all of them, and in order to change the batteries in that, you twist it apart, and then you can access the motor that makes it move. You can pull the chip out, you can pull the batteries out. It's done. So,
So if you put like some super like really high energy batteries in there, will it go like 40 miles an hour?
probably it might not hold together, but yeah, probably.
I mean, at some point, it's worth trying.
It's a little wonky. I mean, it's a rolling ball with something magnetic on top of
Up
it.
and
You know,
down,
yeah.
it's not meant for speed. So
That's so cool though.
yeah, it's really pretty cool. Pretty excited about
That's
it.
the one thing Fast
time.
and Furious is missing is droids.
Oh my goodness.
I've cracked
mean,
the code.
Yeah.
You just
had
made the
to guess.
crossover.
Yep.
Where does it go
made the
next?
Crossover.
Fast 11 droids.
Dinosaurs and droids
It's true.
There you go. There you go.
in space.
Here, think Dinobots.
Dinobots.
It's already
Oh,
been
man.
done.
Dinobots in space with Fast and Furious. I mean, they've done all these things.
I
That's
did
true.
get this cool little thing,
Family.
little keychain. Where's it at?
Is it open? Oh,
Oh,
that's
dang.
cool. Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
So it's like the ring that Rose showed the kid.
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's
But
super
when
cool.
if you do go and you do build a lightsaber, they'll give you it's not the wings, but it's this one right here. That's for the lightsaber I built. Harper got a different one.
Oh,
And I want to say there might be a third. And
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How'd you get it on the plane? You just carry it on? Did they let you
that's a
carry
good
it
question.
The lightsaber?
Lightsabers, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
That's bigger than a
literally-
carry on.
I carried it on like a backpack, and I just walked right in and put it in the overhead storage.
It fits in overhead.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So once you detach
to-
the blade,
I just carried it in this bag right here.
it's not that long, I guess.
In my head, it's bigger than an overhead carry, like an overhead bin.
Y'all are really pushing the line on some of those. Yeah. Here's the thing: a regular size plane, not a problem. It fit right in there.
Yeah.
The smaller plane that we got on coming back from Houston, I was like, I don't really know how this is gonna go, and the flight attendant wasn't the most polite. And I can understand. End of the day, small plane, hot. I get it, but she wasn't the most gracious. And so there was nobody in our overhead storage. Okay, so I was like, and I mean, they were like inches from not fitting, and they fit. And so I had them laying down there, and I was just kind of watching because we were in the back of the plane, making sure nobody threw a bag on top of them or whatever. Well, this guy had a bag that wouldn't quite fit under a seat where she was happy and thought that it was a hazard, all the things that I'm sure she was right about. But anyway, she grabs it and starts to throw it on top of the lightsabers. I was like, oh, can I, and I explained what they were, and she got real snooty with me about it and then moved it. She goes, well, I'm glad we don't have enough people on the plane and you have enough room. I'm like, I was willing to lift them up and let you put them down and set them on top. Like I was willing to be flexible about it. I just don't want something thrown on top of what I paid for.
She's clearly a Sith.
Yeah. So then,
Works for the
says,
Empire.
well, she said something snooty, like, I'm glad they can fit up there all comfortable, something like that. And, okay, well, and I just like, yeah, me too. And kind of blew it off. And
Thanks.
then we get off the plane and she goes, well, did it survive? I said, oh, I'm sure they were fine. Thank you. And I walked off. I'm like, it was just a real antagonistic approach to thing, and I didn't really understand that. But I wasn't going to get kicked off the plane for being mouthy, so it's all good.
We will ask you later which airline not to fly.
That's true.
Well,
if it's Houston, I'm just going to guess. I'm going to guess. You're flying from Houston. That's got to be United. Is it United? Untied Airlines.
Yeah. I mean,
I've never had a good experience on United ever.
Yeah, and I know plenty of people that fly with that group all the time don't have a problem. It just, for us, circumstances didn't work out both ways, and it was a little uncomfortable. And the side of the airport that they take off of is like 25 gates out of one entrance. So it's like you've really got to pay attention, because I didn't hear them say Tulsa. Joni did. I'd gone to the restroom or something and came back, and Joni was like standing up and said, I heard Tulsa, and I see people moving, but like I can't tell what flight they're for, right? So I was like, is this for Tulsa? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And I had to wave him down. Like, we had plenty of time, but it didn't feel like we did. So we basically had to walk onto the runway in like carols kind of a thing, onto a platform and then onto the plane. Yeah, it was really weird. It was a small plane. I mean, maybe 100-person plane.
We had a similar experience on a different airline going to Denver, I think. It was super weird having to like walk out onto the runway. Yeah. Like, oh, this is interesting.
It's like humans aren't allowed here, right?
Right. Well, and I think for me for us, direct flights are the way to go, even if it costs a little bit more money. But the problem is flying anywhere right now is horrible.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. And it's not, I don't know that it's anybody other than corporate greed that's kind of causing some of the problems, because they laid off a bunch of people or furloughed a lot of people during COVID, and they have not been able to keep up with the demand.
Yeah, there's half as many flights as there was.
Exactly. And so I would love to sit here and say, oh yeah, it's them, it's their fault, they're horrible. But I mean, it's just kind of the circumstances of where we're at in the world right now, trying to be gracious and frustration. So
it's difficult.
It is.
You handled that situation probably better than I would have. So
I don't know. I imagine I was just a few words away from getting security called. So
see, but you were a few words away. Yeah. I'm not sure I would.
Are you talking about getting on the plane with the lightsabers?
Well, the snooty comments about the lightsabers and stuff like that,
Oh,
I would have.
Yeah,
I
passive
probably,
aggressive stuff doesn't bother me. It
probably
makes
would have
them more
popped
mad when
off.
they can't make me mad.
Yeah.
So
I was hoping
you
for
know.
a news article. Man pulled off plane while waving lightsaber at staff.
Yeah. No, I have found that interacting with passive aggressive stuff with anything beyond kindness is drawing you into the nonsense, and you don't need to be a part of that. So
Mojo's hunting a fly.
just-
That is
I
some
just let it
wise
ride.
and sage-like
But
advice, sir.
no,
It's true.
when we got stuck in Houston, the day when we were supposed to be in Florida, that was the day where I had to bite my tongue really hard. So as soon as they said free hotel, I was like, I'm just going to be quiet.
Beautiful Houston.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because I was like, this
Luxurious.
is going to go away in a hurry.
Tropical Houston.
Yeah, yeah. I was. Oh man, and I don't even think I was as mad as I was heartbroken. You
Yeah.
know, like I was mad because I was heartbroken, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And oh man, brutal. I would hope nobody experiences that. So
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Glad you made it back.
all
Okay.
good. It's all
Glad
good.
you had a good time.
Glad the lightsabers and the droids are safe.
Yes,
And
those are the
you
we
guys
important
took
things.
a droid on the plane too.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of stuff that we were allowed to carry on blows my ever loving mind. Can't
They
figure it
weren't-
out.
They weren't worried that the droid would somehow reroute the plane.
No, the droid was in her. That was her personal
Little
item.
backpack.
It was a backpack. Yeah, it's a little clear black backpack that's sitting over here. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm
it
gonna
was
say
insane, man. I'm
if
telling
you're
you.
in the back of the plane, I'm just gonna say missed opportunity to roll that droid down the center aisle and have
Yeah,
it beat the people.
the lady that had the plane that I would have felt comfortable doing that on. That was the plane. The lady was not kind,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not testing fate here. She'll just throw me out the plane while it's in the air.
At
I'm good.
30,000 feet.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
out.
I'm good. Bye. I'm okay. So, but yeah, no, it was good. It was a good trip. I'm glad we went, and we're trying to figure out how
highly recommended.
eventually to get back. So,
Highly
What'd you say?
recommended, you would say.
yes, yeah, I would. And if you can, if you've got a family, or even if you don't, you go with friends or whatever. If you can, I would suggest staying at a resort. I know it's more expensive, but it eliminates the need to figure out Uber. It eliminates the need to figure out car rental.
Because you're
It just
on
eliminates
on
all.
park at that point, right? Like you're
essentially.
you're there. Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. So you just walk out of your resort and you get on a bus to go whichever park you want to go to, and or if you don't want to go to park, you want to go to Disney Springs, which is a shopping mall, outdoor mall. You get on a bus and you go there. So the only thing we had to Uber to was Universal, and then we didn't have to Uber to the airport because they picked us up. So.
Nice.
Which apparently is going away. So I don't know what we're going to do if we go back.
The airport's going away?
No, the Magical Express that Disney contracts with, the
Oh.
company they contract with, they've done away with the contract. And so I was actually shocked that when we got there, the buses still had Magical Express stuff on it and in it, because I had seen something that said all the buses had been stripped down to where it's just the bus.
Dang.
But maybe something's changed with that deal. But when we were the months leading up to it, we kept seeing notifications that the Magic Express had pulled. Their contract had not been renewed because they're supposed to be in Florida. They're supposed to be building a
Monorail?
train system of
Train
some
or
kind.
Monorail.
Orlando
Yeah, that's what
Airport.
we need.
Yeah, so supposedly they're doing some
Monorail.
sort of a rail system that will drop you somewhere at Disney. Now, how you get to and from all that, I don't know, but supposedly that'll be the case. And it's supposed to be open like 2022, something like that.
Awesome.
I
So
will
we'll
say
see.
to further your staying on resort thing, when I went in California, my hotel was 15 miles from the park. 15 miles. Not far, right? Hour and a half drive.
Oh, man.
California. Hour and a half to go 15 miles.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
It was awful.
And you got to think, like, since you're already on property, they may get on a section of the highway, but it's within the property, so it's just
Yeah.
traffic's different.
Yeah.
You know,
That's cool.
it never took us longer than, I would say, maybe 10 minutes to get to and from, like from a park to the hotel or to the
Wow.
resort. Maybe 15. One day and the reason for that is because they drop, they only go to your resort. So like just like a city bus, if you need to go here or there, you stand under one carol, and that only that area is going to your resort. So it's it's not like you're having to stop at 5 or 6 different resorts to get there.
Nice.
So it's pretty nice.
I'm always fascinated by the logistics of a place like that. Like,
It's amazing.
That's
It's
the
amazing.
thing.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year edition is $9.99 on Xbox Live right now.
Oh,
there
man.
you go.
So with a free Xbox Series upgrade later this year.
Fantastic.
So
All right, gang. Well, we're at 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Whoa,
It's been
whoopsie
great
daisy.
talking to you, Cav, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Love your neighbor friends.
Yes,
Yes.
love your
Take care
neighbor
of
friends.
Take care of each other.
Go see Black Widow in the theater so Scarlett Johansson gets her money.
That's right. Yep.
Um,
Look at
Stillwater's
you,
pretty
Nick.
good. Stillwater's good. It's a slow burn.
Did he say go Pokes in the movie?
That phrase was mentioned, yes.
Here's why I asked, because last night, and Sam's laughing because before you got on there, we did this whole thing about football. When I was watching the Olympics last night, the news came on and it showed Matt Damon and somebody from Oklahoma that was on set. And the story was that he asked him what you would say if you were from Stillwater.
Say go Pokes.
Yeah, go Pokes and some other things.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. It is a good movie. It is a long movie. It's a bit of a slow burn. But it's 2 hours 20.
What is the premise of it? Because I haven't looked it up.
What role does Ben Affleck play?
Ben Affleck
Be a
plays the
boomer
role
sooner.
of Trigger the horse.
Oh, we were thinking he was a boomer sooner.
So the
Or Batman.
premise
Or Batman.
the premise of the film is Matt Damon's daughter has been convicted of a murder in France,
Okay.
and he goes over there because he doesn't whatever. It's sort of an Amanda Knox knockoff kind of thing. And it's his whole time over there and stuff like that. It's a very like I said, it's a slow burn. It's a steady slow burn. Almost said slutty, steady slow burn. And there is one part, the crescendo towards the end, but it's pretty good. It's about 20 minutes longer than it needs to be.
Well, I got to thinking that it wasn't Stillwater, Oklahoma, and it was like still water, as in the water's not moving.
No, it's
Like
still water.
I got to that point because of something I'd seen where it looked like he wasn't even in America.
He's not.
So,
Most of the movie, he's not.
So-
but the still water part, like that plays a role.
Yeah.
So
You don't have to say anything else. I was just
Yeah.
kind of curious. So, all right.
Okay.
Well, I've got to go fix a lightsaber. So, because that's not going to work.
Go force charge your batteries.
That's right.
I figure it. So is it like how Grogu was like he was meditating? Is that how you charge the battery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Make sure I understand.
You got it. You got
love
it.
All right, gang.
I need to get with Batman so he can fix the battery.
True.
He's the smartest man in the world.
Is the battery's mother's name Martha?
Maybe. But see, like, here's one other detail. So I showed you the bottom of my lightsaber had the little dongle thing that you can connect.
Yeah.
This has a D-ring.
Oh.
So like every aspect of it they've thought of. And they tried to sell us a display box. And the only reason I was like, no, because I was like, I have no idea how we're going to get these back. I was convinced these weren't going to go on the plane.
Yeah.
Cav, are you okay? Blink twice if you're all right.
You said display box. Oh, hang on. How big is that thing again?
Big. Oh, nice. Yeah, a little bat display box.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. No, this was actually like a Star Wars engraved
Oh, super cool then.
thing. Yeah, it was totally awesome. But like that would be something I'd buy later.
Yeah, can you order it online and like ship it in?
Probably.
Surely, right?
But the thing was,
you
there
have to go
was no
back.
way we were going to get that back
You
without
have to
having
buy
to
a
mail it
ticket on the plane.
because we were 5 pounds over our checked bag, and I was willing to like offload
Hang on.
as much as we could, and Johnny's like, just pay the fee. So I had to pay the fee, and there it was. So,
Oh man.
and I even double checked, walked through TSA, everything with the lightsabers.
Oh,
I just had to put them through
Nope, everybody's
through the thing, and
I
then
knocked
Joni
something
forgot to take out her Kindle in her bag, which she didn't even know was in her bag. So that kind of shocked me on that one. But they pulled us out of line because it was a hidden electronic, and we had declared that we didn't have any in there and pulled everything out. So we pull out. She goes, "Oh, it's my Kindle." He finds it, scans the bag. Guy was really nice, and
good.
he looks at Harper, and he goes, "Okay, now I have to ask you a very important question." I'm thinking, "Oh crap!
Are these your
he asks-
parents?
well, we had already passed that part, and so I was thinking, crap! Like, if he asks her where she lives or what state, I mean, she might say anything. I don't know. She, for the
Tatooine.
longest time,
She's a
thought it
wild
was-
card.
For the longest time, she said she lived in Oklahoma Bigsby. So, I'm not sure what this kid's going to say. So he goes, now, if
Japan,
you
right?
answer it right, he goes, if you answer it right, or I'm going to ask your mommy if I can ask you a question. And so we gave permission. Because I had no idea what he was getting at. And he says, if you answer it wrong, I'm going to have to take the Girl Scout cookies. We had some gluten-free Girl Scout cookies, And I was like, listen, if she answers it wrong, you can have the cookies. And if she answers it right, you can have the cookies. And so anyway, so
he stole your Girl
if you
Scout
get it
cookies.
right, then you can have the cookies and you guys can go on your way. And so she's kind of looking at us like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
The pressure.
What is Anna's sister's name? And she goes, Elsa? He goes, okay, you get your cookies back. It's like, it was so funny. But like,
That's
and
fantastic.
and mind you, this is all while he's pulled out the Kindle, sat it at the table where we were, and then rescanned the bag. Like, all of this has happened while we're doing that. But and flying with a kid was amazing because they just let me walk right through. They were like, yeah, you're good. Come on. It was great. So,
Nice.
And she's an awesome traveler.
That's the secret, huh?
Yeah, find a kid and take them with you.
Wait a minute.
I feel like there's a flaw in that plan.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to catch that. So,
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well,
I hear Liam Neeson might be in Orlando.
Yeah, he might, with a very particular set of skills
And a lightsaber.
and definitely a lightsaber. Except that didn't work out too well for him. He died pretty quick. So,
Anyways,
There's-
sorry.
that's
Okay.
cool. All right, guys. I
right.
got to roll.
See you guys.
So,
This is what,
how do we want to
183?
close this? It's like we're so out of practice on this.
183.
183.
Yeah.
I'm Cav. That's Nick and Sam. I'm
See you
pointing
guys.
at you both. I love it.
Hey. Hannah's
Bye.
All
evil.
right.
Wait, hold on. You said
Yeah, I
Hannah's
heard
evil?
that. I heard
You
that.
heard me.
I heard that.
Nice.
I said what I meant.
He said, I said what I said.
Nick, you're in control. I don't have control of this.
Okay, that's weird. All right, man. See
See ya.
you guys.
See ya.
Bye.